All right. We made it back, gang. It's 2022. Happy New Year to you all. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor. Joining me is my dream team co-host, panelist Herb Lewis, the Big Bad Wolf,
Oh,
Willie A. Price speaks the truth.
Nothing but the truth.
Absent tonight, and she will be sorely missed, is Christine Comes Correct All the Time Brooks, the lovable Lakia Perry, and Anetta Life Coach Williams. So this past Monday, we closed out 2021 with the topic, the issue with Black culture. It was a fantastic show with a lot going on as far as the subject matter. And like I always say, it's not going anywhere. Some of these subjects is going to not repeat themselves, but they kind of build off of each other. So the Black culture subject is not going anywhere. But tonight, January 3rd, we're going to focus on why are men intimidated by their woman's success. Oh man, the fellas that's jelly of their woman coming up, doing things, being progressive, and they just hating, flat out hating.
Fiction.
If you are one of those guys, then you have a lot of work to do in 2022. Now let's dig in and let's look at the other talking points. Do you know the power of forgiveness? That's one. Number two, new year, new year. New year, new you. Sorry. What do you plan to change in 2022 and do different this year? And number three, why do men celebrate singleness while shaming women for it? Mm. Mm. You know what they're saying? Like it's like glorified for men to be single, but women, guys make all type of comments. Or you're gonna die alone. You're gonna have a bunch of
wrong with
cats
them.
and all that stuff, whatever. Like what's wrong with you? But with men, it's like like they're in a good place.
Them
Right.
bad attitude.
Right. Listen, can I say this real quick?
No, you're gonna wait till I finish finish
Oh,
off the
okay.
thing. Then you can
Go
say.
ahead.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's why
I
they
was going
single.
to share.
That's
I
why
was
they
going to
single.
share something. That's
Okay,
Don't
you
come
still
for my sis. Don't come
you
for
still
my
you
Thank
can
you.
still
Yeah,
share.
Thank you. Thank you.
This
Hello,
is going to
Annette.
start. This is going to start the new year off right. Let's begin the year by taking the counselor's corner to the next level. Please like and share our video and subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. So we here again. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year.
See, we got here Fred Gilmer. Shout out to you, the master barber. Anita wants to get in. I'm going to let her in. And Lakia, go ahead with your point.
What I was going to say, that is so bad. That's why I have to write notes because I forgot that quick. Was that about the singleness? Do y'all hear? There's peace over here. There's peace. This basket is peaceful. When there is no one around getting on your nerves, you don't have to worry about taking care of them. You don't have to worry about nobody taking care of you, and it's quiet. You can't pay for that. So that's my rebuttal for men saying about women being single.
And when you
That ain't
have
got
guys,
nothing-
when you
that
have
ain't got
guys
nothing to do with it.
with guys, you have guys that's getting on your nerves all the time. That means they don't got shit to do.
No,
Because
that means
somebody
she
is
don't know how to
busy.
pick her guys.
Listen, it has more to do than that, guys. Y'all know y'all a hot mess. Y'all big babies, especially when you get sick. Don't let us get on off topic. David, stay on the topic. Just go on. Or did we start?
All
Or
right,
did we
okay,
start?
okay.
Because
Okay. Let's go. So what's good with everybody? What's new? How was your New Year's Eve and all that other stuff? Let's start with that. Then we'll jump into this conversation. Anybody got anything new going on?
oh,
I got anything good going on?
I did. I have a great news. I took the exam for a notary public, and I passed.
Cool.
So I
Congratulations.
can now,
Congratulations.
right? I'm
Good.
excited. I just thought I'm gonna just go take the test, and I did, and I passed. So I'm grateful. So great news.
Good news.
Thank you.
So does that mean you're gonna like notarize your kids' report cards when they come home?
They don't need to be notarized.
They don't.
No, no, really.
Okay. I'm just checking.
Yes, as part of being a notary, you can't notarize your own stuff.
Right.
That ain't they. That's their kid. That's her kids. That ain't her stuff.
But it needs the parent's signature because
Oh.
they're under 18. Yeah, you get it together, bro. Get it
They
together.
forged your signature already, don't they? You should be able to.
Get it
anyways.
together. Go on now. What's the next? Who else doing something?
What topic we're gonna start with?
What do I got going on?
You got a new
Oh,
show, man. Well, not a new show,
Yeah, a
but
whole
you got
new
a show.
Yeah, what I got going on? I'm actually I have peace and quiet too. I just thought about that. I from what I understand, my stalker has moved away. So I got peace and quiet. I got peace and quiet. So I've been like, man, I ain't gotta peek out the window and check on my car no more. And
So where did she
all
move
that.
to?
I could care less.
You know where she moved
Oh, I
to if
know.
you got heard all that.
No. I just know she gone.
Okay.
No, thank you.
All right,
Lord.
Willie.
Peace of mind. There's two people with peace of mind in the house.
So you never asked where she moved to?
She didn't tell me she moved, so I just heard. I just kind of heard she moved.
Okay. All right.
That Marvin Gaye heard it through the grapevine thing, huh?
Grapevine. That's it. Hey, out of sight, definitely out of mind.
Well, for me, we have, I was supposed to go to work today, but we had a snow day. So we also
much
got
snow
a
did y'all
2 hour, like 3-4 inches, whatever. My car was covered with snow, but we got bigger fish to fry in the snow. This COVID stuff is out of control with teachers coming down with it and students and teachers, their children and stuff like that. So it's just like I think like maybe 28 of our schools in the district went virtual and
Wow.
because they got a higher rate than the other ones, but it's only a matter of time. Like it's crazy. So I was happy for the little extended day off and then a 2 hour delay, but I still got concerns just being in there. Like like winter really hasn't hit yet, so people going to get they're going to get sick and things is going to go on. So you always got to be worried about that. So
are the numbers really high down there, or?
Yeah, they high. Hospitals filled to capacity. I think I seen something like it's like at the rate is like at damn near 25% or something. So that to me that's like 1 out of 4 people getting it. So that's crazy.
Wow.
So that's me. Next, we ain't gonna talk about that. We could go on and on about that one. Anybody else?
Yeah, well, I'm going to add to that because I feel like I've been walking through a COVID landmine with 3 of my coworkers coming down with it. So,
really?
Yeah, man, it's as the song by Snap goes, it's getting kind of hectic. So I'm trying to duck and dodge bullets, man.
Well, our numbers here in New York State are pretty high as well. They're at 174% percentile. So in a matter of 3 days, we had over 7,000 people that were tested positive. So I was
in
on
New York State or just in Western New York?
In Erie County. I was on a meeting
Erie
today
County?
with DOH and CDC. Earlier today, our meeting we had, and our numbers are skyrocket. They're much higher than they were last year.
Wow.
How many deaths, though? But how many deaths is it? They're getting it.
That's you guys always say that. It's a couple people that say, "Well, how many deaths?" It doesn't eliminate the fact there's people still dying. It's just not at the rate that it was last year.
Before, right?
So that's
anytime the virus is happening and there's still deaths happening and occurring, it may be an underlying diagnosis why they passed away of that and still may have been tested positive for COVID.
And that's good, but that's great, but it's good. I guess my thought is if people do have the shot or the booster that is helping them to not go, go to a death state, opposed to if they didn't have the shot, that they are dying with underlying. But I'm just, you never have all full statistics are available anyway. So
Well, the thing is about the COVID-19 is the different variants that are coming out, they're undetected. Like people think it's Omicron, they think it's a Delta, they think it's the COVID-19. The information, the diagnosis that we do, it's not that intelligent to tell you what variant it is.
Which
It
one?
just tells you
Right.
that you have a virus. So people get stuck in that, and people that are vaccinated and boosted, it's wonder what to find. It eliminates the possibility of death and it eliminates how aggressive these symptoms would be, but it does not eliminate the symptoms. You still have people that have not been vaccinated that can be asymptomatic, and then you have people that are vaccinated that may be asymptomatic and have very mild symptoms. So, however, either one can be carriers.
Wow. Yeah.
Do I encourage vaccination as being a nurse? Yes, I encourage the vaccination. Do I encourage it for people that have underlying issues like high blood pressure, diabetes, any type of immune disease or different things like that? Yes, I do encourage that. However, the thing is, our country opened up too soon. You didn't. You opened up and then you threw a vaccination out. You didn't give time for the vaccination to do what it needed to do, because you immediately looked at the financial piece of opening up the city.
Yeah.
But what about is it taken into consideration as well that COVID can survive longer in cold compared to heat, and that it could be the equivalency of why it did go down in the summertime, but now that it started getting cold again, the numbers are rising as it was before.
Well,
So do you think that could be also a reason why
viruses are going to rise because this is flu season? It's flu and
Right.
pneumonia season. So that's going to be an occurrence. And it really has nothing to do with heat and cold. That's such a myth. The thing is, it's a virus. So a virus, I mean, if you look at the statistics, more people die from pneumonia than you can ever think of, and from flu. But however, the COVID-19 coronavirus has been around for years. Okay. It's the COVID-19, which is different antidotes of viruses, is what made that into a mass. So that's why so many people died aggressively, because it's aggressive viruses in one. Okay. And then all these different variants that's coming out, you don't know. They thought they were giving a vaccination for the COVID-19, but then if you got different variants out, this thing is growing in its own little world. So you don't know what you're vaccinating. You don't know if it's going to control it. You don't know how it's going to happen. Like currently right now at the hospital, we got people being diagnosed with a viral infection, which are all the symptoms of COVID-19. They have the sore throat, they have the fever, they have the chills, they have all that. But then when we do a COVID test, they're negative.
And I agree. I believe that for sure.
Yeah, I don't want time. Go ahead.
All right. Anita, anything good with you? Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Happy New Year. Nothing new here. Different digits. Same me. Just gonna work on some things. That's all. Oh, I got a new sweater. This is my new sweater.
Nice,
That's it. That's all that's new.
Is that like one of those ugly Christmas sweaters, or that's
It's nothing
I
ugly
picked
about
this out
that, Willie.
myself just for the show.
I'm just playing with you, Anita. You know I'm just messing with you.
All right.
I know. I picked it out to match Dave's hat.
All right. You see it. I'm
It's
representing Steeler Nation tonight. Big Ben's last home game.
Oh, is it?
All
Is
right.
it? Is he retiring this year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I should have left my Dallas Cowboy stuff on.
I think that's what Herb has on.
Yeah, you
I
could
see
matching
it.
Herb. Well, I'm surprised you had your Buffalo gear on, but we ain't gonna make this into ESPN about a sports talk show, because we could go on and on with that. We're gonna get to the meat and potatoes, which a lot of people wanted to know is, why are men intimidated by women's success? And there's another part to it, but I couldn't fit it in on the description. And the women that need help, why do we kind of put them down or talk down on them?
What do you need? What do you mean by need help though?
Like
What's need help?
they may be struggling, and we look down on them, but then the ones that's progressive and doing their thing, we're intimidated by them. Sound like men are a bunch of bullies or something. Just
I said big babies. I said earlier a bunch of
That's what it
big
sound like they're
babies.
trying to
Never
make them bullies, but
satisfied.
I don't think they are.
so
I've never been intimidated by a woman that made more money than me, or whatever the case may be. I've actually dated most of the people I've dated made more money than me on paper. So that's never been an issue for me because, like I said, when I dated a person like that, we just did things. We did things together. Sometimes I pay for things. Sometimes they treat and pay for things. We just did things. So it was no big deal. And because I wasn't intimidated or impressed with what they did, executives and all these kind of positions, we got along well because it wasn't like a power play, and so it
Go
was
on.
really cool for me. But now when you say helping out, what was that second part? Go on. Cool for me. But now what's the second part? Helping out? What's it helping out? What was that second part?
like somebody, Anita, I think you got two things open or something.
Somebody got two things going.
Yeah, somebody's got to mute their YouTube feed.
All right. So the second part was like, well, why do men kind of
No,
talk
I
down on
closed.
people
I closed
that need
that.
that are not doing as well, and kind of talk
Why they?
down on them?
I don't think that's true either. And the thing is, you have more women talking down to a man who's not doing well and dogging them, because they apparently can't do anything for them. So for me, I see it the other way around. That most oftentimes you have a woman will put a man down because he can't provide what they think he should be providing to be in a relationship. If you broke or if you ain't making enough money, you shouldn't be dating. You hear all these kind of comments, and it's normally a woman saying it, towards a man. It's rarely that a man will say, well, if you're not making money or whatever, I'm not trying to date you, because that's not our perception. That's not how we address women. We normally don't date a woman because of what she makes or because of her job or because of her status of employment. We date them for other reasons, and that's just my opinion.
I, I
So
can
I
I
don't
can
I don't think that's
I can
true.
agree with that. I can agree with that part of it that's typically not the concern with many men. Like, okay, whatever she makes, if we gonna date, if I'm interested, then hey, we gonna go out, we
Exactly.
gonna hang out, whatever, and go from there.
I've
I
never
get
heard a guy say, "Well, she ain't making enough money, so I can't date her." I don't think I've ever heard a guy say
I've
something
heard
like
guys
that.
say that. I've heard guys say
If she ain't making
about
enough money, I can't date her.
women
Now
that
I've heard guys say, "Well, I'm not trying to date a broke woman," and I understand that. A broke woman and a woman who's not making a lot of money are two different things. When we think of a broke woman or a broke man, you're thinking of somebody who you're going to basically end up footing the bill for everything. That's totally different.
you.
let me read let me
Okay, so I'm glad you retracted that. Okay.
Let me read this comment from Kasim Morris. And thanks, brother, for joining us. If a man can provide for his family and kids and make enough to do that by himself, why should he care about how much money she brings to the table when she wants him to pay all the bills anyway? Mm.
Well, and not
Okay,
everybody.
That's
so can I
partially right, but I ain't going for all that.
okay, so can I say this?
Of course. Go ahead.
I think it's so like I can't stand when women be like, I want a man that can provide for me, when he can do this for me, he can do this for me. I want a man that he gotta have a good credit score, he gotta have this, and you don't got none of that. Okay.
Exactly.
So for me, it's like you can't want something that you ain't willing to match.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think that we have lived in or removing ourselves from this society where a lot of women feel like, men is the Powerball, they the mega million for their life. And my thing, why you laughing, her?
Well, go ahead. I'll allow you to finish.
Okay. And I think sometimes because a lot of women that do that, and this is just me speaking, so I get harassing inbox messages after every show.
Oh, you
I'm sorry that's the case. I'm sorry that is the case.
You too?
Don't they be coming for me? They
No,
be
they
Yeah, I hear that.
on a piece of crap today.
Are
I
you
hear that.
serious? Well, I had
they
the one
be
you saw,
coming
the
for me.
one where the one guy was in the comments about me. That was okay. I got it. Go ahead, girl. Do your
Yeah,
thing.
they be
Please.
coming for me. So I'm okay because I got very thick skin. I'm fine.
Oh, they
Um,
ridiculous.
so my thing is that, I think sometimes we are looking for something unrealistic that we are not willing to meet and be at. So I can't say I'm looking for a man to be having a 750 credit score and my credit score 5456. I can't say I'm looking for a man to have a good job and I'm working at Home Depot. There's no knock to anybody working at Home Depot, but I cannot say I want this and I'm not willing to be driven enough to get that. Okay. So I have a different perspective. I'm never going to say I have my own peace. Okay. I'm very happy within myself, but I would never say I don't need a man. I need a man because we were created for a man. Okay. So I'm never going to say that. And that's just biblical. We were created for them. We were created out of them for them. So I'm not going to say that. Would I like to have a man in my life? Yes. Do I feel that some men are intimidated by me? Yes. Men have told me they were intimidated by me because I'm self-sufficient. And I don't like throw it out there, but I could pay my own bills. I own my own home. I could do houses. I could do that. I could do that. However, my thing is that I don't mind dating someone that makes less than me. I just don't want it to be an ongoing battle. Okay. And
Now, what do you mean ongoing battle?
I don't want it to be constantly brought up. You know
what
I'm
that
saying?
you make more or that?
Oh yeah. And I was dating somebody who was, making less money than me. It wasn't a big issue for me because I knew he couldn't pay for us to go to Chop House. So I'm like, let's go to Chop House. I got it. You know what I'm saying? It's no big deal. And I never made him feel emasculated or feel like
for that.
he thought he was less or anything like that because I knew where our income status was.
So Annetta, how did he bring it up? How did he bring it up? Like, what would he say?
Oh, he would make comments. He would always wait till we got around our friends, and he would make comments. Well, she can do that. She can buy her own red bottoms, or she could do that. She'll go to this restaurant. I mean, I'd be happy to take her to Taco Bell and stuff like that. And I was like, you don't have to do that in front of my friends to make it look like, you know what I'm saying? Because then I'm silent because I just grew up in that child era with women in my family that are very strong. You don't emasculate a man just because he do something in public. Now, what I do inside closed doors is a different thing. But I was just like, I just couldn't tolerate that anymore because I felt like you wasn't even driven enough to say, you know what, I make this on my job, but let me be driven enough. Let me get some extra incomes, multiple strings of incomes, so I can show her that I'm driven. You know what I'm saying? Not that he had to prove nothing to me, but you're not going to keep complaining about something if you're not willing to change.
Downplay because you're
right. And so,
how long did that last? How long did that relationship last?
About 9 months.
You put up with it for a long time, huh?
But also keep in mind, Willie, you know this because I shared this with you. I'm also very low maintenance. Like I could be in a relationship and I don't have to see you every day. Okay. Because I still believe in you carrying your own identity and being into your own self, having your own friends, your own. So I'm a little different, you know what I'm saying, in that aspect. But I feel like some men are intimidated by that because they're used to women who are super needy and they need this, they need that, they need that. I'm not that. I'm not that woman. And I think a part of it is because I grew up around very strong men and very strong women who were self-sufficient women and men that knew how to take care of their households. My ex-husband was a great provider. You know what I'm saying? But, and he taught me a lot. Like, I never forget. Dating him, it was like you go to a 5-star hotel. There was no need for you to go to anything less than that. And if you go out to eat, you shouldn't be going out to eat on a budget. You should be able to eat whatever you want to eat. So that's the model that I've lived by, and I was under. So I think some men get intimidated by that, but I mean, I think they shouldn't be. But it also shows me the men that are intimidated by that is because they know they're not up to that mark.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Lakia, you said you had a story. Then I know Herb, you got something to say.
No, just two things. That's true. I'm the same way. The independent woman. The one thought I was going to share it is given differently for me. They don't bring up money. They try to tear down my self-esteem to make me feel less than. That's how I'm more attacked that way, and it make you feel like you're not enough, but that's their way to make them feel better about themselves, So that's how my experience had been.
So hold on, let me ask this. So you make more than them, and they would try to tear you down like you're not enough.
Yeah, like say belittling things.
You know, the attacker, and try
Attack
to
me,
bring her self-esteem down.
my character, attack my integrity, my just attack,
So because
or
they tried to attach her vulnerability to a
Right.
weakness, and they
Right.
tried to use that weakness to her because she's kind-hearted, and so
Right.
she's willing to give them a pass on certain things, and they try to use that weakness.
I give a lot of passes, and I'm easily giving. I give easy,
Girl, stop that.
Oh no, that's over now. That's over now.
Oh, I
But
didn't
I'm
mean to
just
say it like
saying,
that.
before, no, I'm serious.
Hey.
I'm laughing at, like, for real. That is over because I had to come to the understanding that no, I'm more than. I'm all that
Beautiful, and
bad.
you're valuable.
I'm all
But
that
some,
lobster and filet mignon and all of that. So I'm all of
you
that.
know,
So,
I,
and knowing that that's why I'm saying no. I will never as well say I don't need a man. I'm not saying I don't need one. I'm just saying that I believe now, steadfast, wholeheartedly, when it's your person, it's gonna flow and ain't gonna disrupt your peace like that. You know what I
right.
mean? And if it's disrupting who I am as a woman, and if it's disrupting who I am as a mother, if it's disrupting or not adding to what I'm supposed to contribute in this life, you ain't him. So it don't matter what you say or think. You understand? So that's how I'm at that space now. So if he's that guy, we're gonna be able to flow and complement each other in what we're doing in life. You know what I mean? What we're supposed to do in this life. So that's where my mindset is now. And the other thing is the story about the chop house. So I was shared by I'm sorry, whatever, a guy that said if he takes me to the chop house, I'm like, I got to be playing with his stuff on the way home. Get ready to give him some.
Wow.
I was like, he was joking. He was joking. But it was funny.
No,
Better
he
get that
wasn't.
glove ready.
Okay.
Who said stuff
I
like
was
that? Who
Okay.
said stuff like that and be joking?
You better get
Nah,
that glove
I,
ready.
I'm trying to give a benefit of the doubt. I think you're joking, but that was fun. It was like
See, there you
that's what
go,
I
giving
said.
the
Oh
benefit
no,
of the doubt. No, he was dead ass.
no, I'm
Lakia,
trying to be
Dead ass.
kind,
little
but
sis, he was
Yeah.
not joking. Behind
Yeah.
every joke is the truth.
it's the truth. I
Better get
get
that
that.
Okay,
glove
I
ready.
and
do.
with
I
men,
do. I'm trying to give him a bit of a
and
doubt.
Michael
y'all can correct
Jackson.
me if I'm wrong. Y'all can
You
correct
related
me
to
if I'm
Michael
wrong.
Jackson? You
With
got that glove ready?
men are very direct. They're not going to beat around the bush. Their
Right.
simplicity is their middle name. Okay,
That's on my
and if he
desire.
said that as a joke, he meant that fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was funny though. But it was yeah. So it was it was a conversation. It was funny.
He said, "What's
Um,
up?" Fred said, "It's truth and jokes." You come
then,
on,
that's
Fred.
true.
Good
That's
joke.
true. I'm
Better
trying to
get
give
that
her the
glove
benefit of the doubt.
ready.
I'm trying. But
He ain't getting no
that
pass
was
on
funny
that.
though.
That ninja
I
meant
was
that.
like, "Are you serious?" That's why I bought my own chop house. I said,
I know
"Oh
that's
heck,
right.
on my chop, I'll pay for my own steak. Thank
Get
you."
a to-go plate.
So that was crazy. I'm sorry. I'm
Lord have
laughing at
mercy.
it now, but it was. I thought it was a joke. I did. I ain't take it serious.
So, to you men, do you think that and I ask this question often to my clients, because I never want to speak for men. I believe that you men need, what you need from us is not the monetary thing, as brothers, as Kasim said. You guys need more of peace, assurance.
Damn, sure need that peace.
Peace of mind is a wonderful thing.
Y'all need peace. Y'all need assurance. Y'all need that counsel, that individual private counsel. Y'all need that support, and it's not financial. That's more of that emotional integrity, loyalty. Is that what men is truly looking for?
Well, I said that. I said that earlier when I said about dating someone. I said when we date a person, especially when we're talking about somebody who makes less, we don't care about how much money you make. That's not what we're dating the person for. Normally, you're not dating the person because of, well, she's an executive or she's a nurse or she's a doctor. That's not what we're dating. We're dating. There's something that has attracted us to that person that made us find an interest in it. It might have been the first time we saw them and we just had a good conversation and you start dating them. You don't know what they do. You don't really care what they do. But like I said, you're not looking to date someone who's broke and the reason why you say that's broke and not somebody that's making less than you, but somebody is broke, because then you see them as somebody who's going to be trying to basically get from you. You know what I mean?
It's a burden.
You're always going to be the one that's going to put it right. And so that's why you avoid a broke person. But a person that makes less than you, that's not a big deal because we're not dating you for what you make. As long as you're making and providing for yourself, so you meet them and y'all hanging out and she makes less than you, but it's because it's not you walking into a situation where, well, I need some money to pay my car note. I just lost my job. You know what I mean? That's a whole different situation. You're not walking in to meet somebody where you're kind of moving and take over, paying their bills because they're broke. That's totally different. So like I said, I dated people that made a lot more money than me. I've dated people that were executives, 6 figures, and it was no big deal. We've gone to country clubs, we've done things, I could fit in her world, she could fit in my world. We were cool. And I have friends like that make a lot more money than me or, that kind of thing. It was no big deal because I am who I am. I can fit into any circle. I deal with millionaires. I know my best friend, my mentor is a millionaire, so I mean, I can fit in those worlds because I've been around those kind of people. So it doesn't impress me. Your personality is what impresses me. If you make $1 million and act a fool, then I don't want nothing to do with you.
I don't think the intimidation is so much the financial intimidation. I think it's also that position. Some men, people take their position. Some men are intimidated by the confidence that some women carry, the confidence and the independency that they carry.
Is it confidence or is it not ego, the arrogance? Sometimes confidence, and sometimes a person can be confident. That's what I said. I've dated people who have confidence. They were executive, over city budgets and things like that, and they were cool. But then you meet some people that have those positions, or maybe not even that high of a position, and they have an arrogance about them, a nastiness about them. That you look at them, you're like, oh, she looks like a nice person. But once you say something to them, the way they look at you, the way they look down, what I mean, a look can say a lot of things to a person.
And I think with those people, those people don't have a balance. They were focused on getting that position, but they never kind of secured the other areas in their life. So everything is focused on getting that position instead of being a decent individual. So they come off nasty and whatever the case is, whatever. But I want Herbert, and then we got Shaughnessy up in the house.
What up, Shaughnessy?
Hey.
So Herb, I know you got something to say, man.
Yeah, I'm going to reference Sun Tzu's Art of War real quickly. He says a man can win 1,000 battles if he knows himself. And I'm going to take everything that Willie has said. Anita, I'm sorry, I always want to call her Anita. Anetra said, and also Lakia. And I'm going to pull this out so we encompass the dating world. A lot of what we hear from women is in terms of class. Men date for different reasons. Women date a lot based on class. So what you have sometimes is you have people that are mismatched, and they meet each other in places and times in their life where they're ill suited for each other. And I'll use myself as an example. I don't make a great deal of money, but I live my life well. I'm balanced with what I can do. I'm balanced with where I can go. So just like Willie said, I can hang out with people who make a great deal of money. I can hang out with people who don't make a great deal of money because I'm balanced like that. So I can go sit and watch a Broadway play, or I can go to a concert, where certain elements might not be to my liking. So if you have individuals who are confident within themselves, they're never out of place. And what you have is you have a lot of people that when you put them, let's say in the black tie situation where you go into a fundraiser where it's minimum $250 a plate. Can a man dress up and go to that thing even though he might not be in his element and feel comfortable? Conversely, can you take a woman who's only accustomed to eating at a Red Lobster, and can you take her to an upscale restaurant and she's not going to embarrass you? So those things they always undergird everything that people are doing. So just like Anisha was saying, if she goes somewhere and the guy that she's with can't foot the bill, how is he going to behave? Was that conversation going to be had ahead of time? This is why I'm always a proponent of putting all your cards on the table. When people talk about meeting representatives when you date, I tell people, get rid of your representatives. Put yourself out there. See, me, I'm the inverse. You get me on a date. You do something wrong, you meet my representative. And once you meet my representative, you got some things that you want to consider. Do I still want to deal with this person or do I not? And see, a lot of people haven't really developed that. They jump in with 1 foot here, 1 foot out, and they doing a hokey pokey, and pardon this, they start turning themselves all around, and next thing you know, they don't know what the hell to do. They confused, so they start asking somebody else, and the information that they give somebody else is only half the story because they don't want to make themselves look bad. Sometimes in order to get by something, you got to look in the mirror. You got to say, what is my role in this situation? Did I come into the situation, put all my cards on the table, let this individual know that these are my expectations because this is my baseline. This is what I'm not willing to go beneath. And this is my ceiling. In between there, I'm willing to play. You have a lot of people that don't put their expectations out there. So when they're not met, and I always say unrequited expectations. So when they're not met, disappointment ensues. Eliminate that. Your first 2 outings with this individual or whatever it is, those conversations need to be had. So it's understood what's expected. It's understood that you live a certain lifestyle. You have a certain standard of doing things, and you only do things one way, just like she was saying, five-star hotel. I don't do nothing less. So if this is not in your periphery of abilities, then we could be cool. We can maintain a kinship, but we can't go any farther than that. And also, people need to be able to make themselves useful. It's like Kevin Samuels say, what's your value to the group? I understand a lot of people may not make a lot of money, but can you do bookkeeping? Can you do organizational things? How can you make yourself valuable to somebody or indispensable? Because if you're not making a great deal of money, but you feel a need for somebody, believe me, they're going to find a way to get you in their life because you're useful to them. And I know it's going to sound like, well, nobody wants to be used. Everybody's being used in some way, shape, or form. I don't care who you are. I don't care what job you do. Because if you're not being used, then you're useless. I don't mind being used because I'm going to use somebody. If I'm dealing with you, it's because I can get something from you. And I expect to give. You have a lot of people that want to take, but they refuse to give. And that's a lot of what sets this up. So when I hear questions like these, the first thing I ask the women that's saying this is, what kind of men are you dealing with? Are you dealing with men that are above your level, or are you dealing with men below your level? Because just like she said, if you're dealing with men below your level, yeah, they can't compete. They're going to be intimidated. They're going to feel inadequate, and they're going to start throwing bombs just like the guy did with Lakia. I'm not that type of dude. I'm sorry, I can't rock with cats that get down like that. Like I said, I deal with a lot of women that make more money than me. Never made me one way or the other. I am who I am.
Yeah, no, I
All
agree.
right.
That nice. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We go. Anita, anything you want to add to it?
Not really. I'm just listening. I see Kasim. He's taking a lot of notes from Kevin Samuels.
All right.
I cannot.
But
Um,
I do agree with Lakia that guys try to knock you down and mess with your self-esteem and to make themselves feel better, and that's just not fair for us and for the next person. Um, it's going to create maybe a problem because our self-esteem isn't where it should have been because of
Bless
this
you.
one individual.
Right, because it's called self-esteem. Cat Williams taught me that one.
Well, what happens is you got a lot of hurt boys that
Self-esteem.
turn. You got
I
a lot
can't
of
hear
hurt
you.
boys that turn into a lot of hurt men. Just like you
Mm.
have a lot of hurt girls that turn into a lot of hurt women. So they don't know how to properly assess their emotions and their feelings and communication and how to deal with people. When Herbert was saying, it kind of made me reflect back to that same guy. I go to a lot of events where the plates are like $250, $300, and I was getting honored at this event, and he literally looked at me and was like, I don't have the right dress attire to go to this event with you. We're like 6 months into the relationship, and I was like, into myself, like, dang, why didn't you know this? You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, well, I'll go with you to help you pick out something or whatever. So I'm in the store, I'm helping him pick out stuff. I'm like, oh, this look nice on you. Should do this, do that. Not thinking in my head that when we got to the register, he like,
yeah, you got
yo,
to
this
buy
is
it.
really high. I don't have this much money. Because I'm not thinking. I'm just like, oh, this is nice. This is a
You're
nice shirt.
going
Oh, you should
right.
get this one. Right. And he looked at me and was like, I never spent this much money on a suit, shoes, all this stuff. Like probably half of this. So I was like, oh, I'll pay the other half. No worry. Come on. Just get it. If you like it, just get it. And then I was like, okay, he sent his representative her. So he was like, okay. And so we got there to the event, and guys coming up to me, talking to me, congratulating, taking pictures. He literally was like, so I wore a suit for you to take pictures with all these men?
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Let me get
You
here for one
I
moment.
See, that's
was like,
exactly the
possessive.
Hold on,
issue.
let me get here for one moment. One
Mm.
moment,
That's
just one moment.
exactly the issue.
His inability to play a supporting role tells me a lot about him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is going to run counter to what men think. There's nothing wrong with playing a supporting role when you are not in the spotlight. I'll say it
A
again.
supporting role and use that as an opportunity to brag on your woman. Like, look at
Exactly.
all the
Yeah,
things you
but
do. I didn't
he's not
take a picture with my girl.
Exactly.
Like, and I'm going to be the one going home with her.
but he can't. He's not in the
Ego.
position to
Right.
do it. He's struggling here because he's out of his element. And that's exactly what I was referencing when I'm saying
and he said that he did. And when we ended up
yes,
finally
He didn't feel
breaking
comfortable
up,
being there.
he said it to me. He said,
right.
I did all that stuff for you thinking that it would be enough. I'm around people that I wouldn't have been around. I'm at these high class things. I'm doing all of this just to be supportive to you. But I actually told him, you actually wasn't supportive to me, because when I'm
Right.
in the car and when I'm going home, I had to hear how displeased you was being there. That's not a support.
Wow.
Exactly. And your money doesn't equal your intelligence or doesn't say what table you can sit at. You can sit anywhere, any table you want to with anything on. If you bring the intelligence, the personality, the value to a group or team, they're going to want you there and they're going to pull it together to have you there, no matter what it
Correct.
takes. There has been people, my last job, there was a janitor that had gotten in trouble. But listen, when I say he made sure everything was clean, he made sure them hospital beds was straight. Y'all know he went to jail and he had a $1,500 bill. Y'all know we put up money because he's like, no. We need him. Like, and these are a group of nurses, nurse managers, doctors. One of the doctors was like, oh, I got 1,000. Like, go get him. And one of the doctors actually went and picked him up. This is the janitor. It's not about, it wasn't because, you know, he was of a certain stature. It wasn't because he had a certain amount of money. Nobody wanted that money from him. You were valuable. You
Right.
may not
They respect his
necessarily
position.
always speak correctly. You may, but your personality, your work ethic, and who you
Mm-hmm.
are to this team is valuable. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of men don't realize that. Um, if somebody is bringing you along with them, no matter what place they are, accept it and be confident in yourself that you belong here.
Right.
No matter
Well,
if
they can't. They can't. And it's for women. It's easy. It's easier to say that because the expectations. And I know how this is going to sound before I say it, the expectations for a woman aren't as great as they are for men. In other
Really?
words, in
To
other
what?
words, to be successful,
I know
all
exactly
that's
what
required.
I got you.
All that's required for a woman to be successful is she's physically attractive. That's the bare minimum.
married and has kids. Married and has kids.
Yes,
That's it.
that's the bare minimum for a woman to be
Right,
successful.
right.
I
And she
agree.
was talking about Kevin Samuels earlier. The bar for a man is substantially higher.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get there, you have to work hard. And in order to stay there, you have to work even harder. This is why when a man walks into a situation, he's sizing up the competition and automatically he knows I'm out of my league. I can't compete with these guys. I don't know the language. I don't know the customs. I can't dress like them. I certainly can't speak like them. And I don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
So
Mm.
when you get there, you're uncomfortable, literally, figuratively in your skin and in the clothes that you're wearing. So if you can't put on a suit, a tuxedo, learn how to tie a real tie, either a top hat, double vent, tails, or
I
whatever
mean,
it is that you're
Double.
wearing,
we have
double
YouTube
vent suit.
University Google. That is no longer an excuse.
But you
Say
know
that
what?
again.
My thing,
Well,
my
You
thing
you
is,
only
we have what? What is
YouTube
Shawnee say?
University, YouTube
Oh,
University,
that only goes
and
so
Google.
far, Shaughnessy. That
Yeah,
only
right.
Let me
goes
t-
so
no,
far.
no.
women, women,
Let me
women.
see. You could tie a bow tie over YouTube University. Yes.
Okay, let me
What
put
I'm
it to you like
talking
this.
about.
Etiquette. You could set a table. You know what entrees come first. What YouTube
Hmm.
has everything.
But the
Everything.
thing
So if
about
you're a
all that
woman,
stuff is repetition. If you
Right.
just googling something for the first or the second time and you're not used to doing it, you're gonna make a jackass out of yourself. It has to be something ingrained like you do over and over that you feel comfortable
Right.
with, whatever.
Right.
That's what teaching is
Correct.
about the
yeah.
repetition part. So
mm-hmm.
if it's something you go, then the lights get bright. I always talk about when the lights get bright and you under the lights, your ass gonna fold. You're gonna fold
Hmm.
under those bright lights.
Yeah. If
You know,
you're not used to being in a situation like that, yeah.
my
Go
question
ahead,
is
Nick.
this: if and I've experienced that where I've gone with a guy has gone with me to an event, and I bought a jacket, um, nice expensive jacket because I wanted him to look as good as I was, and
Mm.
and he felt like you could tell he was uncomfortable. But the one thing I'm thinking about now is it always healthy? Isn't it good to have those conversations beforehand? Say, hey, and hopefully men and the woman can be transparent because it can go either way. Women can feel intimidation too when we go out with men because of other women. You know, if we be honest at times, I speak for myself. Let me speak for myself. There were times where I was in situations that I've gone to events with my guy and beautiful women were there and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like these are some beautiful women." And sometimes this guy maybe looked at them a little too long and now I'm feeling a little insecure, but that was me, it wasn't him, you know. But just to say that that can happen that way as well where it's just not a you're not a social butterfly, you're more of an introvert. Um But I've gone to places and I'm thinking maybe it's best that make sure you have those conversations. And if the guy or the girl do not feel, mentally ready, or or be able to have conversations about what's going on, maybe they're not the best fit to take to that event. Maybe we should take a friend or someone else we can be a little bit more comfortable with, opposed to putting someone in an uncomfortable position just to have this look of a man and a female, and that you're being escorted by the opposite sex. It doesn't have to always be that way.
They
I
need
think
to open up a service that we can rent somebody to take to events.
Wow.
we
Escort
can't put
Wow.
Hold on. They do exist.
Wow.
They have
girlfriend,
those.
They hold on.
Yeah,
They
you need a
and
phone
have
they
them
number,
Wow.
the
all.
website, the email, whatever. I
no.
They
mean,
have those.
So
They
so
do
hold on,
exist.
hold on,
Take a
hold
guy
on, hold on,
friend that you can
hold
just have
on.
a good time with.
So hold on. So I'm supposed to be laid back on the couch like this, knowing my woman rented some damn guy to go to an event, and everything's gonna be fine when she get back.
I wouldn't suggest
well,
that.
that I mean, it wouldn't be somebody
A
Another
lot
you
of
girl.
times
rented.
they don't
If
have
you
a
in a
guy. That's why they
relationship,
do
you
it.
shouldn't do that. If you in a
Yeah, a lot of
relationship,
times they
you
don't have
should.
a guy and they do that.
Yeah, you in a relationship, you shouldn't rent somebody. I'm talking about somebody single
Yeah.
like
That's
me.
what I'm
I'm going
saying.
to events.
Single,
Let me.
yeah.
I need to
If
rent somebody
you
for a few hours.
if you meet someone that hasn't had the same experiences as you, which means they haven't gotten to learn the same things that you have, and you guys are in a relationship, would you guys not teach them these things?
Oh,
I
I
would
don't
just
have a
think
problem.
that
Well,
I don't have
you
a
know,
problem
it's kind of
teaching.
difficult, but you know what? A lot
You
of
gotta be
times,
receptive to want to
yeah, and
learn.
that's what I was gonna say.
but
A lot of
and I
times,
was
the
just
guys
about to
isn't
say,
receptive to
Gotta be
being taught
coachable,
things.
teachable. A lot
Yeah,
of
you
people
gotta be
not
teachable. And
Yeah,
the guy I
teachable.
was
sometimes
talking
they'll
to,
because
he
the
resist
same
wasn't.
that.
with women, because the same
Yeah.
with women, we don't necessarily let's just say this guy grew up and his mother creased his pants a certain way. He's not saying that you're inadequate or anything, but you iron his pants and he wants you to iron his pants a certain way. He's going to teach you how to do that. You can do the same thing for your man or your partner. You can teach him
That's
how
different.
to.
That's different though.
No, I
That's
get
totally
her
different.
analogy.
I
I
understand
get
what
the
she's
analogy,
saying. I
but
understand what
you
she's saying.
also was willing to learn how to figure out how his
Right.
mother did it.
That
And you
Your
said
right. And see,
men,
that's
experience,
what
men
I'm saying.
aren't.
That's
You have
something
to.
right,
that
of
Okay.
that
learning.
he
And
wanted. Right.
you have people who are not at that place, or they and don't take
Right.
me wrong, I have been in a position where I
Right.
felt intimidated by a man. This one guy, man, he was fabulous. Okay. But I was so intimidated because one, he had his stuff together like me, but he was super gorgeous. I was really, really thick. Okay. And all the women that when we would go to events would be all over him like, oh. And so he had the pick of the litter. So I was like, I got really like self-conscious about my weight, about I'm not pretty enough. He can have all these pretty women. Da 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 da. Why is he here with me? Does he have pity for me? But those aren't called insecurities.
Insecurities.
And
Right.
that's what I said. That was
And
my own.
And I mean, we all have
internal,
them.
yeah, I had internal insecurities that were triggered from my inability to just be me. Okay.
I guess it's
And
just
so
in
But this,
dating
but
and
the
realizing
fact
certain
that
people, especially that fine man, he got some stuff with him too. His stuff is together and all that. He has some stuff with him too. So your insecurities, 9 times out of 10, you guys might not have the same insecurities, but he has things that he doesn't have together that you have together. So when you guys come together, you both have insecurities that will make him feel like he is not necessarily deserving of you. And you may feel like you're not necessarily deserving of him. And you guys are both working towards being better people, which is
and,
ultimately the best thing in the goal in partnership. Somebody to
and
make
that's
you or
something
help
that
you
she
be better.
and that's something that you missed. And when you said, you go and you with him and you these all these other women and you're looking at them and looking at you. But the thing is, what you really missed in all that is that the fact that he was with you. No matter what was out there, you missed the fact you were so concerned about what you saw, but he was with you. He took you. See, if he didn't want to be with you, he wouldn't have taken you to where all those women were. Because
one thing we know about these men, they're gonna use their options.
Right. And so he would not have brought you there unless he was with you. And so you basically took yourself out. You know, I mean, you put yourself in a uncomfortable mode because of
a self-sabotage.
Right. You felt, you didn't feel comfortable because of how you felt about yourself. But he cared enough about you and he wanted to be with you enough that he brought you out to show people this is who I'm with.
Meanwhile, it's dirty underwear under his bed.
But you say that well,
but sometimes that's not the case.
My thought on that. Everything is not always just that. And I think it is also because you just want to have a man or a woman on your arm. You don't want to be there alone. And it does, and not every man is doing that because I'm into this woman. It's for that other purposes, and he could just still be a liar or a dog, or she could also be a liar or a dog. It doesn't matter. It's like it goes back to the self-esteem part. We have to be confident who we are regardless of who we're with. But what I was saying is that when we know we're going to events, a lot of times we just want that person there to be a showboat, or not to show, but to have that companionship, or be able to say I'm involved, or have that look, like the society look that you're in a relationship, and it's not always about that.
It always go back to KYP, know your personnel, who you taking with you, whatever.
It's not comfortable. It's probably best.
I'm gonna ask a question on the guys on the panel. How many of you guys own a tuxedo?
I do not. That's something I've been that's something I've actually been slating to purchase. My only problem is my weight's yo-yoing, so I can't really buy that tux and then fit into it. But rest assured, that's on the very short list of items that I need to secure. Other than that, I have everything else I need.
I got a couple.
Women rent dresses and gowns all the time. This is a known fact.
Say that again. Say that again.
Women rent dresses and gowns all the time. There's a whole website and app for it. All the time.
As a man, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, and see that. As a man, and I was 27 years old, and my best friend, he rests his soul right now, Larry Joyner was his name. He passed away, but my best friend at the time, we were pledging Alpha Phi Alpha together, and we were getting ready to go to our first black and gold ball. And I was saying, I got to rent a tuxedo. And he said to me, what do you mean go rent a tuxedo? He said, you don't own a tuxedo? And I was like, no. And that was the first thing he made me go out and buy was a tuxedo. And when I go, like I said, I talk about going places with people and to high events and things like that. And a person called me and said, well, you're going to need a tuxedo to go. You're going to have to go rent a tuxedo. And I said, well, I have a tuxedo. And they were so surprised that I had a tuxedo, because that's something that a lot of men don't think about having, even though we do go to events. But then you also have to look at, the people that you surround yourself with, because if you don't surround yourself with people where you're going to be going to events like that, you wouldn't think to have the need one.
And I think that's the key.
Yeah. And so just buying one is going to put you in a different mindset that, okay, I bought this thing. Now I need to put myself in a situation where I can use it. And so I end up, I have a couple of tuxedos, but the thing was, he taught me at 27, that this is something you want to have, because you don't want to be going out and renting, like you said, renting a dress or a gown or that kind of thing. But you don't want to go out and rent something that somebody else has been wearing and they just cleaned it and gave it to you, and then it's been passed around, kind of thing. Right. And so that's what I ended up doing.
But I don't understand how that wouldn't be okay for most men, because most men are really y'all don't like to spend money. So let me finish. I've run into a couple guys where they very tight with their money. So you would think renting a tuxedo, and it depends. But if you, and you're right, it does depend on what it is, but still, why is it okay for that when you, I mean, you know, if you want to be tight on some things, but then you got the opportunity just to rent something, you don't have to keep it in your closet and then take it back. It was cleaned and take it back. And you saving yourself money? No.
No,
I mean, it depends on, just like what he said, it depends on how
to
many
2 or
times
3
you're
events,
going.
you've paid for that
Right.
tuxedo. You've gone to 2 or 3
Right.
events, you've paid for that tuxedo.
That
So,
makes
and that's
sense.
what he was saying to me. Now think about it. I was 27 when I bought that tuxedo, the first
But
tuxedo.
you're gonna,
You
And
still got
not
it.
gonna be out of it.
And I know I still have that one, but I have other ones too. Because once
Right.
I
You
bought
add to it.
that, you know, I needed to have, you know, another one. So that way also. But the thing was, I don't have to go and rent a tuxedo. And as
Correct.
you see, like I talk about, like I wear vests and shirts and all this stuff. That's
Yeah.
where that came from, because when
Yeah.
I had my tuxedo, I was always wearing vests. So what I would do is, because I had a tuxedo, I would go out and buy different vests to wear with that tuxedo. And then I got to the point where I just stopped. When I wasn't wearing a tuxedo, I started wearing the vest. So when I speak with a vest and a shirt and tie, and that's my brand, is wearing a vest when I speak. And so that's what people know me by. But that's how that came about, was from me wearing tuxedos and having tuxedos.
Hold on.
That's,
All right. I want to Master Barber, anything you want to add to this? I don't want you to just be laid up, balled up on the couch and not saying nothing.
Yeah.
I'm
Do
just
you have a
listening, man.
tuxedo? That's what inquiring minds want to know.
You said, do I have one? No, I don't, but I can afford one. I just don't.
Do you have a passport?
That? Nope.
No,
You don't have a passport?
I do.
I do.
But see, I asked like some guys.
It only takes 6 weeks.
But most guys, a lot of guys don't get passports, and which is really weird. Women will, because women travel, and women think with the mindset of going somewhere and traveling. A lot of times a guy isn't going to get a passport until somebody says, oh, we're going to go on a trip and you need to get a passport. Then they'll go out and try to get one.
I feel like that's
and that's
that guys have about tuxedos.
I think that's generational.
I have one, and the reason why I have one, because I have a lot of international friends.
You, Herb.
I go in Toronto a lot. And so a lot of my friends in Toronto.
So let me show you what Willie's talking. Let me show you what Willie's talking about. I'm sorry, Willie.
What is that? Oh.
What Willie's talking about is this. I've had this suit probably for about 7 or 8 years. I probably worn it about 4 or 5 times. But I'm always going to have this suit at my disposal.
Right.
And I can't unbutton it. So I'm going to show you what Willie's talking about with the vest. I can wear this suit in one of 3 ways. I can wear it with the suit coat.
Dang it.
I want to have a fashion show on here. You need the red carpet.
Wow.
Where am I?
You know, froze up.
I'm sorry. No, I can't get back to the. Oh.
Is that your hat? What is that?
It was like plankton.
So I was asking that because a lot of guys don't think about having a tuxedo because they don't think they're gonna ever have the opportunity to wear it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with a passport. Yeah. I have my passport. I've had it since like 1997. I got it at the American Consulate in Munich, Germany. And then a lot of guys I asked, do you have your passport? They're like, no. I'm like, can you get a passport? Can we travel? So I mean, not right now.
Don't travel the same way women do. A lot of men don't think traveling the same way that women do. When they travel, they're traveling normally within the country. Women travel, they're going.
Generational. Cause I will say, especially when we're talking about insecurities and meeting men, especially because I had my children young. Although I had my passport from a very, very young age, I've gotten it renewed several times. But the men that I date that are typically from 40 to 25, I know it's a wide range, they have their passports and they have been a lot of places. They're like, oh yeah, I travel. Oh wait, you never been to Belize? And I'm like, yeah, well.
And that's why I said you have to look at the person, right? A person like that who travels, they're going to get it.
Right, but that's most men my age. These men be gone.
That's
They
the
be
men
on the
you
move.
surround yourself with. Those are the men you surround yourself with. You surround yourself with people.
I'm
in your
talking about. I'm talking about the. I'm talking about. Listen, I may be a certain person, but certain. I'm talking about the hood guys. They be going places.
They travel. It don't matter where you're from. I'm from the hood. I'm from the hood.
They still in the hood.
They still in
it doesn't matter. They travel. I think some guys travel. I think
right,
some
they
guys
travel.
travel.
It's not about where you're from. It's what you enjoy doing. And you have people that travel, and then you have people, like I said, who just travel. Some guys think traveling is just traveling in the United States.
I think some guys travel to come up, and they want to post those images, whatever, and they use that to come up on other women. To be honest, whatever. Yeah,
David, what you said is like clout, huh? Trying to get clout.
They want to show and tell, whatever.
Like they're rappers. I mean, you can geotag your location anywhere.
Yeah, but some guys.
But then I brought that up because on a previous podcast, her brought the fact up that women should vet men by if they have their passport or not, and if they can't get their passport or don't have it, then they probably can't get it because they're, what'd you say, Herb?
Felon.
Felony.
They have it. Yes, they have.
Yeah.
If you have
passports, I think.
No, they will. That's one of the few classes that cannot. Because if you,
what type of
I think it depends on the
felony it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because felons can get passports. Yeah, I know that for just like I said.
But there was a time where it wasn't. But now they can.
Registered felony, for a sex offense, you cannot get a passport.
Yeah.
Oh well, I don't know about them type.
I don't know about that because I ain't no felon, so I got my passport.
Well, it's in.
But this guy,
they think about Canada. You can't go to Canada.
How about if you owe? How about if you're in debt with child support? Do they give you a hard time with that too?
No.
Wait a minute. They do ask that. Like you can't.
Well, I know that you can't. I know that if you are in arrears with child support, you can't even go to Canada.
Yeah, and then I know when you take as a real estate agent,
you can get your passport only if you have been arrested for the child support and you're on parole.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't
because
like you can't go if you had a DWI.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You can't go if you had a DWI or DUI.
Corey Burke said men are self-made and not intimidated by a woman's success, and that's basically what we were saying that men that are confident in who they are as individuals are never intimidated by a woman. So.
Well, we're going to move on to the next part. We spent a lot of time on here.
Yes, we did.
And with this part, do you know the power of forgiveness? And a lot of people talk about that they forgive individuals, but they really don't. And I think sometimes that leaves you at an impasse. You can say it, you forgive someone, but if you don't really genuinely mean it, shit, you still stuck in the same situation. So do we really know the power of forgiveness?
Are you forgive but not forget?
Forget.
Nope, I don't.
You can forgive but not forget.
Yeah, we know that saying too, whatever, but are you still at an impasse? Could you move forward with that? And I think sometimes we don't know how to move forward.
Well, I think it would depend on what the person did that you've forgiven them for. There's certain things a person can do and you'll forgive them. And like I said, you won't forget, how to deal with them in certain situations now because of how they did you. But then there's also situations where a person do you wrong and you may forgive them, but you just cut them off and you don't have nothing to do with them.
Right.
Is that forgiveness? Is that considered forgiveness?
Yeah. Because if you don't forgive them, it's going to be something you dwell on. And it's gonna have more effect on you than it is on them because they're gonna be going about their business. So you have to learn to forgive them and move on.
I don't know about learn to deal with the situation, but forgive. I don't.
Like, what were you saying, Lakia?
I don't perceive that to be full forgiveness.
Right. Okay.
I think I can say honestly, up to this point, God forbid, I don't know what may happen in the future, but up to this point of today, I can honestly say I forgive people that I've dealt with, and I will still be around with them, and I'll still communicate with them. Well, I mean, would it doesn't mean I'm gonna let them live in my house or drive my car. No, but I'm gonna interact with them as if I've
Well, it
forgiven
depends.
them.
But I think
Okay,
too, it depends on what
so
what you're forgiving the person for.
and like I said,
You
up
know
to
what I mean?
this
And that's why I
point,
said in the beginning. I said in the beginning, it depends on what the person has done that you're forgiving them for.
and
Because
God
certain
that's
things
why I
you're
said,
not going
God
to forgive
forbid,
or you're not going to forget.
pray
You're not going to
that
hold on
whatever
to.
may happen from this point on, God forbid it be anything outside of what I've already experienced. But up to this point, I do believe you can forgive people if you choose to. It is a choice.
And it doesn't
And I
matter
do
what the situation is.
it doesn't matter what the situation is. It's a choice. And my number one reason for saying that is because and it's all spiritual because I need grace, I need mercy. I'm not perfect. And because of that, I need to give it so that I give it back to whom much is given, much is required. I have to give it so I can get it back in return. Is it always easy? Excuse my French. Hell no, it's not always easy. But the desire and when your peace is more important than that hatred and that hurt, then you got to let something go. And I believe a lot of times when we're harboring bitterness or we're harboring things in our heart towards people, we that is interrupting our peace and it's interrupting our joy, is interrupting relationships when you're still holding on to something that you really need to let go of because hopefully, I mean, at one point in time, we've done something to offend or hurt or do something wrong to someone. And I hope that they will forgive me for it. So
So
that's my mindset.
I think maybe I need to be taught how to forgive because some things I just do not.
I am with you. Because there's people that I can forgive and things that I can forgive, and there's things that and people that I can completely cut off. Does that mean I'm bitter? No. I don't even think about them. I told y'all a couple of pods. I kill people easily. They be dead as in buried.
Mhm.
And I don't necessarily hold any bitterness. And I don't even think that I move forward in friendships or relationships thinking that people are going to do those same things or automatically accusing or blaming somebody else. So I don't think, not forgiving somebody equates to being bitter or holding on to a certain pain. Although we hear it all the time, but I could leave you in the dust.
And that's good. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, oh, that means now we got to be best friends or best sisters or cousins or, mama. It could be dad. It could be anybody, or a stranger. I'm not saying that you go out and now we have to be this. No, but just know if we ever come across each other or we're in the same room or, you know,
I
whatever.
won't even know you. Lakia,
I ain't got
who?
nothing to say to him.
From where?
I would say,
Well, the thing
I
is,
ain't got nothing. Exactly. I would
Yeah,
have nothing to say to
I never saw you or heard of you. I don't know who you are. I'm
him. Out of
yeah,
sight,
sorry.
out of mind.
yeah, I
Who?
yeah,
don't.
Yep.
forgiveness
Exactly.
is more for you than it is for the individual.
Right.
Okay, it's a
Right.
release for you, so you'll be able to have a life of freedom and peace.
Mm-hmm.
But
Um,
Yeah,
that's
you're
my
not gonna
question.
dwell
You
on it.
think
I'm
you're
not gonna
held?
dwell
so,
on it.
but
How
sometimes
are
I
you
think
held
that
though?
we don't forgive ourselves for a situation. Okay.
Okay.
You can find yourself putting yourself in bondage. Why did I deal with that way? Why did I handle? Why did I let her? Why did I let him? You know what I'm saying? So you have to work on that inner forgiveness within yourself. Um, I don't think in the Bible it talks about 70 times 70 forgiven, but it never said that you need to forget what happened.
Right.
Exactly. You don't forget.
Okay. All right.
You don't forget.
So my mindset is I had to get to a place where I learned how to forgive and not hold a grudge.
I got. You know what? The
And
word does
so
say.
that's the
The
key
word
thing.
does say.
So my that grudge would be attached to what you said. I'm gonna ignore you. I'm so good at it. Willie, am I good? I will ignore you and act like you don't even exist. Because I did it to Willie. He came, he was at the cigarette spot. And
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I'm glad you did, so now I can talk
got
about
a lot of moments with a lot going on.
And I'm good for that. I would just, I mean, like a plague, ignore you like a plague, okay?
Until
but
I hugged her
I
and kissed
also
her.
realized the energy and the time that I take to ignore you is the time that I have that I'm wasting. Because I'm also thinking about all of the negativity.
Aren't you? You ain't let it right. Now you're thinking about all of that. That's right.
So I had to get to a place when he came and apologized to me and asked for forgiveness. A part of me was like, deuces, go ahead, do you?
Yeah,
I'm good.
and she was too. She was.
And then
but I didn't let it go.
Like, yo, you're not free. You gotta accept his apology and you gotta be genuine about it. Like, there's no reason for you to hold that. And I literally had to be like, you know what? I'm good. I'm not a hugger. And I literally was like, I got to come out myself and hug him because I have to release that. I have to let go of that so I can be able to move on. You know what I'm saying? Because it was holding me. It wasn't, it probably was affecting him. I don't know. But it was affecting me because whenever we was around, then I got my brothers and all of them there. They like, yo, why your demeanor changed? No reason. But the reality is,
okay.
But you know what? There is a scripture that does say where God he threw our sins in a lake of forgetfulness.
It is,
right?
Yes, it is.
So that means so that's why I'm gonna say if he was able to do it, and I know he's a spirit, he's God, but he dwells inside of all of us. That what gives us the ability and strength and the wherewithal to be able to forgive and do the same.
Oh yeah,
see, I was going.
we don't. Bigger than you gotta forget the incident. You have to forget you have to forget the offense to the fact that it overtakes you. It should not overtake you anymore.
Effect it had on you. Right.
You have to release that offense so it does not overtake you.
So do you guys feel like some things are unforgivable?
Exactly, and that's what I said.
That's gonna
forgive. No, it's not gonna always be easy to forgive, but everything can be forgiven. Absolutely.
Yes,
one day
I feel
I'll
like
forgive.
Forgive and forget is like the same thing.
I think
forgive and not forget
at all.
But I'm gonna tell you, Shay, it's a hard task. It's a hard task, and everyone know, David know, I'm very transparent. So I talked about being molested from the age of 9 to 13. And when it happened, and when this person in my family got sick and ill, a lot of my friends were like, you need to go to them. And I was like, for what? Like, and they was like, you need to go to them. Then when I was going to my counselor, he was like, yeah, you do, because it affected your childhood, your adulthood, and your relationships, your marriage. So you got to go and close that. And I remember going, and when I went and did that, it was like a total lift. Like everything was just like, I walked out the building and I felt like that for the first time, I actually experienced the sun. In its beautiness. You know what I'm saying? And that was a thing that I thought I would never forgive, because you took something away from me that I didn't even know was innocent. Right. But at that point, I realized how the impact of forgiveness was for me. Okay. I realized that I began to release, and I realized that everything I was going through, it affected my marriage. It affected my relationships with people. It affected how I move. So I only thought I was good in this one area, my career, and everything else was falling apart. I focused on the career, but I missed everything else.
So did you discover that in counseling? That, it was worth forgiving, or?
Oh, yes. Counseling and a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, a lot of studying. But it was definitely, I'm going to tell you, it was definitely without a shadow of a doubt going to counseling. Going to counseling, because it made me unravel and uncover some things that I was suppressing. Okay. It made me like, okay, this is the reality of what happened to me. I no longer can't hide this, because it was certain smells, like cologne smells men would have on. It would trigger me. I would get emotional, and I didn't understand it until I went to counseling and I talked about the experience. It then at that point made me realize, why I hated Old Spice, the smell of it, because it
Because he
brought back
wore it.
Uh,
the images of what I
Mm-hmm.
went through. You know what I'm saying? So that
Old
forgiveness is very
Spice, old dirty
powerful.
bastard.
It's very powerful. It's very powerful. And so
Wow.
I ended up forgiving them, and like probably about 6 or 7 days later, they died.
Mm.
Okay. And so
Mm.
it was like, for me, it was a release for me personally. And I realized at that point the power of forgiveness, that it was more for me, that I had myself in bondage for years because I didn't want to face the reality of what I went through.
So
Yeah.
I can piggyback on that from my perspective, and I went through the molestation with a guy. He was a friend of the family's, and for me, um, I never really wanted to share anything with my family members because I said they would kill him and they would end up in jail. Like I know my father, but I went through stuff with him as well, and I knew he definitely would have killed him. Just
Mm.
on general principles, he would have killed him.
Yeah.
But then I thought about my grandmother and my aunts, and I said, they would stab him or do whatever because he was around. Then as I got older, I would still see the guy, but I would see the condition that he was in, and I was like, this dude's struggling. And I knew that as I got older, I said I should beat his ass. Uh, but I never did because it was the simple fact that you didn't control me. I'm still living, I'm still surviving, I'm still maintaining, but probably should I have talked to somebody? Maybe, or whatever the case is, but I just didn't let that situation define me. It, and that's the thing that we don't know when we look at all of this stuff. A lot of us has been through these situations of hurtful situations with people
Mm-hmm.
that's close to us, and
Exactly.
people don't speak on it, don't talk about it. So we go into relationships with these unhit
Baggage. Yep.
things, baggage,
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and people never know. So sometimes we're always at a deficit.
mhm.
And you just keep pushing on, like I say, whatever. Sometimes and this guy end up he died. He ended up dying, whatever. I think this year with
Mm.
COVID and all that stuff. And I didn't wish nothing bad on him, but I guess
It's
as they
what it
say,
is.
shit happens. Yeah, stuff
It's
Can
what it
I
happens,
share?
is.
man.
Can I share like two things real quick? I just want to, and I have to share it for two things. I have to say I didn't go to counseling. I didn't ever do counseling, and so, but nothing against counseling. A lot for me was prayer and the Father talking to me Himself. So let me share two things He said to me that helped me through the times that I wanted to hold on to my anger of disappointment or hurt. He asked, and if you think about a father, a child, and a parent relationship, and your child do something that's disappointing. You know what I mean? It's like why did you do that? And it's just disappointing to that your child is doing something that they know better about. And so the father said to me, "Well, haven't you disappointed me? So what's where you are above disappointment? How can we ever put ourselves above something that we've also have given at some time in our life?" So that was one time that he shared with me. So I had to let it go because I've disappointed. I've disappointed my parents. I've disappointed myself. I've disappointed my kids. I've disappointed men that I've cheated on. I've disappointed people. So who am I above not being disappointed? That's one. Second thing is um, when I wanted a person to really pay for them hurting me. And I said to the Lord, I was like, I want everything that he touched or this, that. I want everything wrong to go wrong. And he said, you really want that? I said, yes. I want everything. I want you to get revenge. And he said, you really want that? And then the third time, I had to catch myself because I had to realize what I'm saying. Because whatsoever you measure, you meet, whatever measure you meet, that will come. It's going to come back to you.
Come back
So
to
whatever you
you.
throw out there, it's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to make sure what you throw out there. So on the third time, I had to catch myself because he was trying to give me an opportunity to fix it, and he did, and that's where grace come in, and that's why we have to continue to try to fight to give it. Is saying, no, I don't want him to do that. I want what's best for him. I pray that he gets what he needs to get for his life, and that he will stop being that person that will cause hurt and pain. And I had to think greater than myself, but I was thinking of myself at the same time. You feel me? Because like we saying, the forgiveness is for yourself. It's not for the other person. So that's what made it easier for me to be able to say, you know what? Now I just try to do good in everything, not everything, but try to just be sincere in my heart to what I do for anybody, because I know that's going to always come back if you don't.
Come back.
Yeah, and we all have ways of forgiving and forgetting and accepting and all these kind of things. And everybody's going to be different because you got to look at the person and their situation. And again, like I said, where you're spiritual, somebody else may not be spiritual. So they may be able to forgive, but they're not going to forget. They're not going to wish well for the person, but they're not also going to wish death on the person either. Some people will I wish they die. I wish they get hit by a car. You know what I mean? You get some people that will feel that way, or they may even say it in the beginning and later let it go. But, everybody's going to be different. There's no going to be no right or wrong answer. It's what helps you to get over whatever you have to get over. And some people won't get over whatever they went through, whatever that hurt was that friend put them through or that family member put them through. They'll never get over it. So they'll dwell on it. They won't go to counseling. They'll just basically live a hurt life. And like Dave said, carry that baggage from one relation to the next relationship because they've been damaged and they never got repaired. So,
And
so
one of the
things. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dave.
And one of the things you said, Willie, and that's why I learned from Counseling 101, when people go through that grieving process and people always like, sorry for your loss, that's probably not a thing that you want to say. You probably want to find other words because sometimes people are happy for that loss.
For the loss.
If
right.
if that person brought pain and despair to that person, they may be relieved, like, thank God that they're gone, whatever. So don't be quick to say that as the trending or the common thing to say. Be mindful of the situation, whatever. And that's why I always say KYP. Know your personnel, who you're dealing with, and listen to what people say. Because they may be like, shit, I'm ready to go get me a fifth or something and celebrate. They're gone. Right. They're gone. Yeah. They can cause me no more pain, and I'm going to live on. So just don't assume.
A lot of times you don't know that either, and I can say I do that. I'll say sorry for your loss, because a lot of times when people post things like that, you're thinking they're posting it only basically because of they're expressing that they had a loss. A lot of times if it's somebody who you've gone through something with, you're not normally posting that, I just lost my favorite uncle. You know what I mean? They're not posting those kind of things. So you have to watch and see what the person posts also, because I have a habit of saying that too. If I see somebody lost a family member, I'll say sorry for your loss. And then I, keep it going. But, I also, I've been in situations, I talked about it. I think I talked about it once on the show where I had like a best friend. I thought he was my best friend. And I shared with him that I had met a person that, I really, I just met this person, really liked him. We were hitting it off. And he started telling me, hinting to me that he had sexual relationship with this person. And I was talking about, he was telling me, watch where you put your mouth. You don't want to put your mouth on her, all this kind of stuff, trying to deter me from being with her. And so by the time he finished, like I said, he constantly kept, hinting that he had relationships.
Why didn't you just say it?
Now listen, So then once I left, because I got tired of hearing him say it, so I left and got in my car, was driving home. He proceeded to call me on my way home. Just be careful. You don't watch where you put your mouth, this, that, and the other. But what he was doing, and he was in a relationship. He was trying to get me to leave this girl alone so he could reach out to her. And that's exactly what he did, because I contacted her. By the time I got home, I was so like, oh man, I can't mess with her. She been messing with my boy, da 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 da. And I got home and I reached out to her and I said, and she was like, no, I've never done anything with this guy. I know who he is. And he was trying to get with me. And then the next day she called me. She said, that guy who you just mentioned to me called me yesterday after I talked to you and was trying to get with me, talking about let's get together and this, that, and the other. And then when I reached out to her, she said, y'all never did. Oh, no, I didn't say we did anything. I was just joking. I was just joking with you. And
there's a lot of red flags. There's a lot of red flags in that story. For one, why was he comfortable enough to call her? Why did she accept this call? How did all of that transpire? It's so many red flags in that.
Well, like I said, the red flag was the fact that he went on this whole rampage about trying to warn me, call himself warning me. You don't want to be careful, but you don't want to put your mouth on it. You know, all these kind of things making me think that he had been involved with her. And he knew, because I consider him like a best friend to me. He knew that I wouldn't mess with her because of that, relationship that I thought we had.
But so he just didn't want you to get the.
He didn't want me to get with her because he was going to try to sneak off on his girl and go try to get with her.
That's the 52 fake out.
Like I said, when you say
52 fake out,
I can't forgive and I can't forget. And
what's really the point in that? Like, so what did he like? What's the point? What did he get out of this? What did he get out of this?
I couldn't tell you because I left. I stopped speaking to him, and like I said, if
did you stop speaking to her?
Yeah, I did to her too. Even though
before or after.
Huh?
Before or after?
After, because like I said, I spoke to her, but then when she told me all this stuff, she kind of, I don't know, because she was saying that he was saying some things to her about me too. I can't see why you talking to him, and he's this and he's that.
Is he still your friend?
This is supposed to be my best friend.
But is he still your friend?
No, that's what I said. When she called, she said to call me that next day. I said, hey, that guy you was just asking about called me and was saying, let's get together, all this stuff. And I knew you had just told me what he said. And I said, it just really, I said, this is supposed to be my best friend. And to stoop that low for you know what I mean? Our friendship meant, right. Our friendship meant that less to you, that you in a relationship, but you don't want to see me with somebody and you do something. And it just, I said, nah. And so I cut that off, and we were friends for over 15 years.
Yikes. Yeah.
It's two things I want to say. Ray Alexander said something, so he came at me. He said at the controversial council, is it better for a man to up his personal game in dealing with the accomplished woman, or should he try to convince her to accept him at his present station in life? Nah, man. For me, I'm a competitor, so I'm gonna up my game somewhere.
You should never want to compete with your partner.
How? I don't want to compete.
No. That's not what the question's asking.
Yeah,
that's not what it's.
Compete with her,
no, I'm
I
just
know
going
me.
with what he said.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I know me. I'm gonna feel like I got to do something better. I want her in my life. I still want to be with her, so I know that I got to step it up now. Whatever to do this. Yeah, motivation. Right. So I'm not gonna say accept me as I am, because I don't want to be set up for those pot shots down the road. Because pot shots lead to me saying, hell, man, I'm going to hit you with this hook, whatever. So I'd rather for it to be peaceful. So I'm going to step up my game. So thank you for that question, Ray Alexander. That's how
I would.
I have a question. I think
that's sort of what.
I have a question.
That's sort of what Lakia said, though. That's so Lakia or you. I'm not sure who said it, but they were talking about a person when they don't bring their game up, how they try to bring your game down. You know, I
Well,
think both of y'all said it. They try to belittle you and lower your self-esteem because they're not willing to or don't know how to step up and move,
I have
you
a
know, bring their game
question.
up to a better level.
So
Huh?
is this dating potential?
Is what dating potential?
Meeting somebody that is at a lower stature or a different a present station, and you are already successful. Um, yeah,
Only
he
you
may
can
be
answer that.
motivated.
I don't
Huh?
think so. I
Only
think
you
they
can
have.
answer that. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's
that's
what we're talking about, where you're dating a person who, like, you may make more money, you might have a better paying job or higher stature. Are you willing to date someone, a guy who has, you know, not at the same level as you, make less than you know? But again, that all depends on what you're looking for. A guy doesn't date a woman based on what she makes or what her stature is. That's not what we look for. Women look more so for that in their men. So
These
that's why I asked you,
hobos definitely look for stature.
huh?
I said these hobos, some of these men
Yeah,
that
some
have
men, but they
you
have
do.
ulterior motives too.
Yeah.
They're not dating them because, you know what I mean. They're not dating you if you got a higher stature because you have a higher stature. They're dating you because they see the potential of what they can get out of you. You know
If
what I
I
mean?
could just jump
That's
in real
totally
quick,
different.
I think that my belief now, just through some experiences, not that it's perfect, but I believe that you want to connect with somebody that's going to be of the like mind with you, that's going to complement where you are, where you can complement where he is, and it flows.
Right.
You know what I mean? It has to have you have to complement each other. You have to have understanding with each other. They have to understand where you are in life, and you got to understand where they are. And I think the more you have that, that's all that really matters. All about who makes more money. If you guys are like minded, it's just gonna flow, and it's gonna just be what it's supposed to be and complement each other. All the other stuff is just fall into place if it all complements you and complements him. So
Uh,
that's just my thoughts on that.
And
I
if you
got two
look at
things. I got
if
two
you look at
things.
real quick, Dave, I just want to say, if you look at society today, on the average, there are more women making more than men in today's society. And you have to look at the positions, nurses, you know what I mean? You have a lot of women that are nurses, and a lot of nurses make a lot of good money. Teacher, not so much teacher. Teachers make good money too, depending on how long they've been teaching. But
hmm
you have women that are now becoming executives in corporations. They're starting their own businesses. So you have women that are making, you know, real nice incomes, and then they want a man that's making more, or you know, or at their same level, and they're not finding that. They're not finding that because a lot of men aren't making those kind of, you know, salaries. They're making a good job, you know. It may be a garbage, and that's what I was talking about. I was listening to something they were talking about. The guy may be a garbage man. He might be, you know, have a job that's making decent money, but he's not making six figures. And so you have a woman
A
that says,
garbage man make decent money. They got great
right, I
benefits.
said decent money. I said decent money, but again, he's not making six figures. And what happens is you have a woman that says, you know, she's gotten to the point where she's making six figures or whatever she's making, and now she wants a man that's making that. But you also have to look at what is her value, you know, other than her making six figures. What else does she bring to the table? Because
Right.
she's, by the time she's get to that level, she's already got her mind in a frame of mind where she's set in what she wants and set in personalities and certain behaviors. And a lot of men who's making that kind of money aren't going to want to deal with that personality, not going to want to deal with that type of behavior, that type of attitude that they present. It's going to be a
Uh,
constant clash in those relationships. That's why you see a guy who makes a lot of money like that. He'll date a younger woman. He'll date a woman who's not as accomplished a lot of times. And it's because they don't have to deal with a lot of the attitude and the personalities of a person who is established like that.
Mm.
okay. All right. So I got two things. Vicky Moore, and this was, probably went on the forgiveness part. It was powerful. She said, "I'm not wishing anyone well that crosses me. I don't
That's
have
right,
that in
Vicky.
me." And some people just don't have that in them. That no matter what, like if they crossed them, they did them wrong. There's nothing that that you can do or can say that forgive them. So you have to respect that approach. But the one thing I also wanted to talk about, that when people talk about high value men, modern women, independent women, the one thing I always stand on, what my grandmother said is, it's all about who do right by you.
Right.
Who does right by you? I
Mhm.
don't give a damn if you make
I'm a
this
Clinton.
much or whatever. Who does right by you? And she
Exactly.
always said that do right by people, whether it's friends or whatever. And when you encounter people that don't do right by you, then you have to let them folks
You
go.
go. That's
You
right.
gotta let them go. So it don't matter
Right.
what they make or what they do got going on. If they don't do right by you, they gotta go. Simple, simple, simple as
Mm-hmm.
that. All right, now I'm done. You know, I always
Yeah,
get my little jabs, and I'll let y'all
you
have
know
it.
what? It what this does, at least from what I see, is it mimics the five or six stages of grief, and depending on how well somebody manages grief, to me, is going to determine how quickly they can deal with a situation that has adversely affected them and move on. I'm a different type of cat. I deal with certain things
We
in a
already know that.
compartmental way. So when something happens, I take that situation and I isolate and I say, what is this situation and how should I deal with it and how can I use it to teach, or is it worth me even teaching? Because there's some situations that'll come and I'm just like, you know what? I'm take that, put that over there. I don't have a use for it anymore. I'm 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 done with it. If I see the individual, I may speak, I may not speak. It depends on which way the wind is blowing. Because some people, like I had a situation probably about 10, 11 years ago, I was dealing with this female and she got out of pocket. And I just outright just dismissed her, to the point that one time I was out at karaoke one night. She approached me and she spoke. I didn't say anything. It was just like she wasn't there. It's just like Anitra was saying. And she
I know
said,
you
"What, you can't
familiar.
speak?" And she looked up. She said, "You." And I looked up. She said, "You can't speak." And I said, "No." And I continued on with what I was drinking. There are some people that just aren't worth my time. They're not worth my time. They're not worth my mental energy. They're not worth anything to me. As far as I'm concerned, they're dead.
Oh, wow.
I do that because they don't need to take up any more of my time. And
Or
I've
space in
given
your
them.
head.
And I say it again.
I said, or space in your head.
Yeah, I've given you enough rope to the point where you hug yourself, and I don't need a dead carcass around me fucking up my environment. I just don't. So I'm gonna bury you, and I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna let you fertilize some lawn or some plants so I can eat off of it. That's the type of person I am. There's a lot of things that I just don't have time for, and a lot of people, they make time for things that irritate. And I'm thinking, why would you do that?
No,
Why would you entertain something that's going to cause you some discomfort? Some people like to live in pain. I don't know what it is, but me, I can't do it.
no. One of the things I
What,
want to
what
say
am I
is
talking to?
for
Brother,
OB
keep knocking the phone over.
I
Will W.
Why we even had to
No,
talk to him?
no, no. Let me just answer this. He said it's rare for a woman to elevate a man. The king can make any female a queen, but queen never makes someone a king.
Just say
That's an
okay and move
absolute
What
on.
gift.
is
Okay,
That's an
irritating
absolute.
about that?
move
That
on.
Elevate a
that's
man.
that's not true. That's not true.
King can make
He
any
came from
female.
a woman. Just say okay and move on.
Queen never
If my
make.
Charlie, she
son
don't even
become
want
a
to buy
king,
into that, huh?
if my
I
son
know what
becomes
he's
a
talking
king, guess
about.
what?
Yeah.
I know what he's talking about. I actually talked
Yeah.
about that on my page one time.
No,
That's
but
actually true what he's saying.
now,
That's
how is
actually
that
true what he's
true?
saying.
How is that true?
A
Half
queen,
of you men couldn't
Yeah.
function.
a queen cannot, and
I'm not
he's talking
whatever.
about it
What makes a man a
in the
king?
manner of a
That's what I'm
monarch. He's not
confused
talking
about.
about like how
He
you
ain't
think.
even lived in the world of a monarch. So
But
some of that
if
shit
you
you just reading. You just
if
read.
you if
Exactly.
you if you understand the monarchy and what he's saying, that is true. What he's saying in the monarchy, I talked about it, and he's saying that but a queen can never make someone a king because the king makes a queen, and when the queen marries someone, he doesn't become a king; he becomes a duke. He doesn't. He can't become. She can't marry
Okay,
someone and
but
make
none
him a
of y'all
king.
are dupes. None of y'all in the monarchy.
Yeah.
Right. I'm
None
just
of
saying.
y'all are part of the
What
royal
he's saying is
family.
true. Well, I'm saying what he's saying is true in a monarchy, but it's,
Yeah,
and
that's
then people get offended
But
by
we
it.
know that's not what he means. That's not what he's speaking to. He is trying to take a jab at women.
Right, he is.
And
He is. And I'm
a
just saying,
certain
but what he's
caliber
talking
of man. He's that certain caliber of man. We're not even going to get into it or feed it anything else.
Yeah, that's another. I don't feed that and that energy.
Yeah, write them off. Mark the line. Next.
Right, and that's what I said. But what he's talking about in the monarchy, and that's what it is, and that's why I said in a monarchy, which is where he got that from. That is true.
We all took social studies. We're good.
Okay, I'm just telling you. But what he's saying is true, and it's funny because I brought it up one time on the show. I
If he
said
was using it in that context.
No, I'm not even gonna bring it up because people get upset when I talk
Let's
about
go to the next.
So, yeah, let's go to the next because I want to get folks upset.
We're gonna move on to the next.
Because it really goes
segment.
back to the original statement when we were talking about the intimidation and all of that. When you want to say a queen can't make a man a king. Okay, I hear what you're saying. That's your statement. That's how you feel. But if you come into the table and you have less than me, so are you saying that I can't help you?
No, because that has nothing to do with the topic. You helping me has nothing to do with whether we're a king or a queen helping each other.
It
has
does.
nothing to do with our stature. It has nothing to do with our stature in that manner. So that's a totally different subject. That's why I said I'm leaving it alone because it has nothing to do with the title, king and
queen.
But
we have nothing to do with the monarchy. So we're
right.
trying to make
he brought it up
a
as
lane
did,
that it's
like
not in.
said.
He's taking a jab at females in which he can't take because majority of these men, and I'm going to go ahead and say 80% of these men can't live, function, or do their day-to-day things in life without a female backing them or behind them. And I'm not saying that they're incapable.
80%. 80% is a high number.
80%. 80%.
Don't be saying no 80% now. I would say no 80%.
Hold on, wait a minute. You can address her. You can address her statement by asking one question. What age demographic are you speaking of?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I said probably
I'm
her
talking
age group.
from 0 to 99.
No. Hold on. No.
Put it out there. She put it out there.
And help me. Please understand what I'm saying. When I say this, I'm not just saying a woman in just a partner. Whether it's your mother, sister, cousin, or aunt, you need a woman. Y'all all and 80%. I'm just saying.
Why is it?
No,
okay.
Hold on.
You see how
I like that part.
said,
I like that part with Shaughnessy said, including sisters and mothers, because some of us men will rely on them for support. You might not ask the direct woman you're dealing with, but your mother, your sister, or somebody provides something. I like that, Shaughnessy.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Well, that's good. That's going to depend because for me, that's not even remotely close to being accurate.
20%. You could be part of 20%.
Well, hold on, but
that goes both ways.
Yes, it does. It does. It absolutely does go both ways.
And I
but see, this is hold on. I'm sorry,
the key balance. Let's say this: we need each other. Period.
Yes,
we need each other. We were created for man. Okay, man was in existence for us. We needed each other. When you go back to the beginning of everything, man was here by himself. He was chilling. He was creating stuff. He was doing this, doing that. And then he came and said, yo, you look kind of incomplete. I'm going to give you a little help me. I'm going to give you somebody, that you can, do what you need to do with. Mm-hmm. So in reality is we came from a vital organ of the man's body, which means we are a necessity for men. Period.
We build their legacy.
So there's nothing. There is a need for us, and there is definitely a need for
men. Yes, I agree that we absolutely
because I would not have my 4 kids with another woman.
Right, and I definitely agree with that. And the same way we can say we need men, but it's in the same sense as father, uncle, cousin, grandfather. because I know I'm 30 years old and my father is 52, and I be on his phone every day texting him. I know I still stress him out. But I mean, yeah, there's some things I'm gonna ask my father versus asking my partner, and that's just because that's who I want to ask.
Right.
My
So
uncle.
I'll say this to address Mr. 08 Bill W. You stated that, you won't help a man, you will hold it over him, you have no respect for a man who makes less than you. Okay, so I'm going to say that your comment that you're putting on here is probably a personal reflection of what you went through, your
What
experience.
he's been dealing
Or
with,
he's
yeah.
scared to
Right,
let
what you've been
someone help
dealing
Or
with.
him
he's
because
doing to
he's
stir the pot.
afraid.
Or he's trying to stir the
Right.
pot.
So, or you're trying to stir the pot. However, all four of us ladies on here can speak at our own tone and at our own pace, our own experience in life. It doesn't matter to me about the financial piece for a man. You could have a man that has the financial piece who could be beating the hell out of you. Okay? Physically, emotionally, and mentally. So the financial piece is not an aspect for me. Because as quick as the Dow Jones go up, it can go down. You can lose everything you got. What I want to know from you is, will you love the entirety of me? Will you respect me for who I am? Will you understand me when I'm flawed, when I'm unflawed, when I'm okay, when I'm bad, when I'm good? Do you have my back? Can you support me financially, emotionally, mentally, or physically? I'm going to do the same to you. I'm going to give you what you give me. The movement you give me is the movement I'm going to give you. That's how I think things. So don't make a statement, a general statement to all the women on this panel, because you don't know any of us personally to know our life experiences and what we went through and how we maneuver with our relationships and with our men. Just because we make a concept of what we went through, or we give experience, or we give an opinion and views, does not mean it identifies who we are in our totalness.
And the one thing you said about that, Annetta, is, and I learned that from counseling 101, greater than, less than, equal. You give people what they give you. If they give you greater, you give them greater. If they give you less than, you give them less than. If they give you equal, you give them equal. And a lot of things about life is about mathematics, that people get caught up in formulas and all that stuff, but it's simple concepts that equate to a lot. So that's a lot right there in itself, man.
If you think about different, there's so many different like types of personalities and characteristics of people. There's some men that like dominating women. There's some men that like that in a woman. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then there's some women that like that in a man to be to be the dominant one. And then there's some people that like to have share the roles. Everybody ain't for everyone, and everyone ain't for everybody.
Right.
Period.
That's true.
But
And
it
I do
doesn't
want to
make it
piggyback on
wrong.
the fact that we give life, but we have to look at the beginning aspect of this. The men creates the life that we hold. Okay? We nourish the life inside of us. The men build the legacy. Okay? So I just needed to break that down in the dynamics so we'll understand that,
Which
because
means we
I
need
think
each other.
it goes back to last week when we were talking about roles have been so flipped because people don't want to honor men for who they are and for what they are. That's why when these men be coming at me on here about I'm bitter, I'm this, I be looking, I laugh, I don't respond because I know who I am as an individual. I'm all about building men. And Willie will tell you that. I said that on his page. I'm not going to male bash. I'm not going to tear a man down. We got bad men, good men. We got bad women, good women. Period. At the end of the day, I don't think it's so much as the person being bad. I think it's so much of the person making bad decisions and bad choices. Okay? Giving the tools that they have been utilizing their entire life. You got to get out, like David said, get out your mindset and think different. Get out the box and think different and move differently, and then you'll get differently. I always say the reason why we date weirdly is because sometimes we attract the thing that we are harboring. Okay? And so I attract somebody who, wasn't there because emotionally I was not there. I'm there all on paper all day long. Paper look good. Credit look good. This look good. but emotionally, I was a total mess, garbage. Okay, and that's why I end up attracting that, because that's what I was harboring.
Mm-hmm. That was your
Let me
type.
jump in here for a hot second. 08 Bill W. I don't think you're cognizant of what it is that you're saying as opposed to what you might be trying to ask. You made a declarative statement, and what she's telling you is you don't know any of them well enough to make that declarative statement. So if you want to ask a question, the link's been dropped. If you want to ask a question, but don't make an accusatory statement when you have no evidence to support that. That's just some ignorant shit. Period. I'm gonna call you on it. So you got to step to the side with that nonsense, man. If you're not gonna come up on the panel, man, stop trying to take pot shots from the chat.
Come get some smoke. Come get some smoke.
Come
on the panel, come get this smoke. We ready for it.
They said, come join the panel. The link is there.
Today, but because I'm sleepy, but I don't mind no smoke.
All right, that's not
smoke though. That's just pure foolishness.
Right.
The first thing they teach you, or the first thing you learn, I don't say teach you. The first thing you learn when you're having these type of discussions is you ask questions, which allows you to gain clarity into why a person is saying something. To make an accusatory statement when you don't have any facts to support that is just stupid. Period.
Making accusations, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep up confusion. No confusion here, buddy.
We're gonna move on to the next segment, and it's about New Year, New You. What do you plan to change or do differently than last year? What we gonna do?
Our little
because this is gonna make us
30-year-old. Tell us what we got. What you got?
You calling out little my Shaughnessy? Don't call out my
30-year-old. Tell us what's happening out there.
I'm your granddaddy.
I'm just, wait, what happened?
She's talking about me, but that's all right.
Lakia taking shots.
She's a hater. She's a hater.
I don't.
Wow, she went there.
Herb, and she did it so quick, Herb. It was like boom.
That's funny.
Sorry. I just had.
Come on, Shawnee. Ignore her, Shawnee.
So I don't have any specific goals in mind. I just try to always do better. And just strive for better. I'm really not into the New Year's resolution. If I want to try to start something on July 13th, I'm gonna do it on July 13th. But I do try to kind of reset sometimes. I do want to get the time management. I need that. So I'm hoping to do some better time management with myself and with my kids, because I don't know. We are always rushing. We are busy, and always rushing everywhere to do everything. So I'm trying to get some time management in there for the new year.
All right, appreciate that, Shaughnessy. Anybody else?
I think I'm gonna be a little bit more open with dating this year. Last year I was kind of, for the past couple of years, I've been, I'll shut a guy down in 3.5 seconds. So I think
what?
But I think I'm gonna be a little bit more open-minded. I think before I wasn't ready for the whole commitment and closureness of a relationship, but I think I'm entertaining it more. So that's my goal for this year, is to be a little more open.
A little more? Just a little.
Willie, you can't question her goal.
I'm just asking a question.
So, mine's is less spending.
And all the stores don't go out of business. The mall going out of business now.
Less spending. And I started by taking off the fake nails, and did them myself.
And they still look good.
I haven't did it in so long. I was just like, feeling like it had to be. No, look here, I have beautiful nails. My nails grow nice when they grow. So done with the nails. Done with trying to figure that out every 2 weeks. Done with going shopping. I started the whole envelope thing. I remember, David, you talked about this. I think
Yeah,
months ago,
I was doing it.
What
I
is
was
the
doing
envelope thing?
where you get 200, you get 100 envelopes, and you put increments of $2, 2, 4, 6 on each envelope. $2 in one, 4 in the
it.
second, 6 on the
Yeah, you
third.
just pull the envelopes. You just
Yeah,
pull them.
and in this way, I don't know how David did his, but in this way, it goes up to $200. But if you do it for 100 days, you'll save 10,000.
Oh, I need to do.
Yeah.
For 100 days. So
Send me
I
that.
already started. I actually started. I gave myself a head start. So I have 95 more days to go. And so that is like, so I'm doing that's a new savings plan I started just to give it a try and say, okay, look here, get your money right. And because it's not that it's not right. It's not right. Period. See, I try
I
to make
always
it.
look at
Yeah.
that year to date and I don't understand what I don't know.
We got kids. Kids, I think I'm gonna be honest. I spoiled my kids.
They credit card scammers, they finessers, they all of the above. Man, listen,
Who our kids are?
my kids are not.
So can I make a
I'll be
suggestion?
honest. I spoiled myself.
Can we look at possibly doing more investments, residual investments like you invest and you get something every 90 days or every 2 years or something like that. So that money is not, because for me in an envelope is not good for me. Okay.
You
It
know
sounds
what?
great, but because I'm not a money person, like if I have money on me, like if I loan somebody $500, I loaned somebody money, they wanted to make sure I got it back for New Year's. So they gave it to me on New Year's. It was gone the next day. Don't know where I spent it. They gave me cash.
Where did it go? Gone.
It
gone. Right.
It was like
That's a mindset.
And I was like, oh my God, what happened? And I was like, what? And I never loan money. I never loan money that I need. Okay. So I didn't expect to get it back. But when they called me, like, I want to give you your money back going into the new year. Okay, no problem. You can come bring it to me. And I literally found myself like, ooh, it was just gone because I don't hold on to cash. I usually use a credit card and I'm just giving some healthy suggestions that my brother, who is very financially smart, that told me was I use a credit card to pay my bills and then I just pay the credit card off.
Who does? Your brother or you?
Gas, huh?
Your brother or you do that?
My brother taught me to do that.
Oh, to do that.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and so
essentially.
That's what I do.
Let her finish.
Because I don't do the cash thing. So for me, investments accounts is more secure for me because even though I have a savings account, my savings account, I found myself transferring. But with my investment account, I can't touch that investment account because I don't want the penalties. You get what I'm saying? So I just say, I'll do an investment account. Then I have a residual account where every 3 months, every year, or every 2 years, it'll kick off a check or something like that. And then you can either call them within that 10 days and say, hey, you can reinvest it back into the account. Don't send me a check out or something like that. So I just say, what?
No, I have a 401k.
I'm waiting patiently because I want to talk about this.
I have a 403b. I have a pension. I have stocks, and I have Bitcoin, and I have this metaverse chunk going on. So I'm in there now. I got a whole portfolio going on. But it's the whole fact of where is the rest of the money going outside the bills.
Because we spend it on Tim Hortons, Starbucks.
Okay.
Eat out.
At the bar.
Listen, I looked at my account the other day.
I will cook. I didn't want to cook.
Analysis of your account. So then I hit my account and was like, give me the 3 biggest spenders companies that I use. Guess what the biggest one was? Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Most
Oh
people.
yeah,
Most
Amazon
people.
is a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Most
that
people
could
do
rope
Amazon.
you in.
Amazon was it was like my ties was
Mine's
number
is
one to my
food.
church. Amazon was number two.
Number two.
So I said this year, Amazon will not take my money like that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
That made me consciously
nail
think like,
people.
yo, I just made them rich. I'm talking about I'm a millionaire, but I just made a billionaire another billion.
That's so true. Mine is food. Mine is takeout. Mine is if it ain't, I'm just eating out, eating out, eating out, eating out.
Look
Mine is Yard House.
here.
The Yard House.
Eat. I like to eat.
The
So
Yard House.
reverse that, Lakia, and instead of eating out, order from Instacart fresh food, fresh meats, and all that stuff, and get it delivered to you, and cook your food.
No, I'm cooking
That's the
now.
problem.
I cook. I cook. I'm doing my slow cooker. I'm doing my air fryer.
I need to
I got
change
my
my
griddle
friends.
out. I got my pots
You
out,
what?
pans. No, I'm cooking now.
I need
what,
to change
Sean?
my friends because my friends know my schedule. They know when they father have them. I be done cook. I be done took a shower, laying in bed, and they be like, "We at your house. Come on!" And I be like, "All right, y'all."
Right.
It's so
Honestly,
close.
is these the same crew from Newtown?
No. I live in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
I live in
all right.
Virginia Beach now.
Okay.
So it's right up the street. And when I say right up the street, a Uber is like $5. So I can drink as much as I want and still take an Uber home. It's so bad. And then my boyfriend doesn't make it any better because he's like, oh, for real. He gets off at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. He's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go drop my gun off and I'm coming. And then now we're there till 2 o'clock in the morning, and the bartenders call us. It's bad. It's really, really bad. So I'm gonna
That's
try to
bad.
stay away from Yard House. I'm gonna try.
Well, I'm in the new year. I'm actually going to be doing several financial literacy programs. So all these people were talking about financial literacy and savings and making your money work for you. I heard people talking about different ways of saving, but one of the things I didn't hear people mention, which is what I'm going to talk about, and I do it in my youth programs as well, is I heard nobody mention life insurance. And life insurance, whole life, I think it's whole, I get them mixed up.
Yes,
Whole life
it is whole life.
Whole life. Whole life, you have people who are putting money into savings accounts and checking accounts and things like that. Most of the majority of your wealthy people put that money that you're putting into a savings account into a whole life insurance. And then they use that money, the death benefits, they withdraw from that and they use that to pay their kids' college. They give that to their kids to help down payments on the car. And they don't have to pay that money back. See,
That's the
you don't have to pay that money back because where that money comes from is when you die, they deduct it from your death benefits. So if you have a $5 million or a $2 million policy and you over the years withdraw $500,000, when you die, instead of your family getting $2 million, they get 1.5. But you've used $5 million, and like I said, where you're putting that money into a savings account and getting 1% interest, and then they take that back in fees. That money that you would be putting into a bank account, you use that to pay on that $2 million policy. Yep. And you see what I mean? Even though you're saying you're paying it, but then you're also borrowing $500,000, and none of that affects you. And so those are the kind of things I'm going to be teaching. And I teach this to 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th grade kids in the schools. I teach these. This is what I do. I do financial literacy programs. I was on the phone today with an organization. I had a meeting today with an organization. They want me to do a 4-week program in March with a group of kids with Niagara Falls High School. This is what I do. I do financial literacy programs. I do financial literacy workshops. I do an introduction to the stock market boot camp that I've been getting people asking me about doing that because everybody's into the stocks right now. I don't do crypto. I try to avoid chasing all the cryptocurrencies out there. But I let people know that there's a lot of ETFs out there. There's a couple of ETFs out there now that they research and they buy the cryptocurrencies that are the ones that are the ones that need to be bought, they buy them, and then I invest in those ETFs, and then that way I'm not chasing a bunch of different Bitcoins and cryptos and all those other things. And so those are the kind of things that I'm going to be doing in the new year. I'm doing a lot of workshops and trainings. I'm working on an online course right now. And I mean, that's primarily what I'm doing this year. I just created a new stock investing system that I'm trying to see if it's working. And I'll be knowing that over the next 2 to 3 months. So I'll keep you guys posted on it. But if it works out, it'll give me over close to $50,000 by like February, March, not March, April, March or April. So, I mean, those are the kind of things that I'm working on for this year. I always talk about, I talk about people, and I hear people like I heard Anetta say about FICO scores, your FICO score. And I always tell people I don't have a credit score. And people like, what do you mean you don't have a credit score? And I actually do have a credit score now. I just found out I have a credit score. But my credit score is 8. It used to be 0, which is I'm trying to get it back to that. But my credit score is an 8. I just found out about 2 or 3 weeks ago. When I went to get my FICO score done, they said I have an 8 now, and I'm very upset. So I'm trying to get it back to 0.
It's not to be upset about, because the thing is, we're the ones that's duped. We don't need all this debt.
Right, and that's how you get your credit score up.
No man.
If you want to realize that.
If anything, I want to have like maybe 1 or 2 credit cards for travel purposes. And I like what Anetta said about maybe paying my bills with my credit card. You get a lot of rewards now, a lot of bonuses.
Yeah,
rewards
that's how they get you with these programs.
So taking advantage of that for those reasons. But other than that, I don't need to have a whole bunch of credit. It's not always good.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing I want to add it to what Willie was saying about insurance, and a lot of the people, the top rich people in this world, like Warren Buffett, they came up on insurance money.
That's right.
Like when people died or whatever the case is. We don't do that as Black people, and I'm gonna specify
we gotta get the insurance first.
It don't cost that much.
We don't
right,
do that.
It doesn't.
It don't when you're young. It don't cost that much.
When you start having ailments and all that stuff as you get older, of course it's gonna cost more. But we don't do that because for some reason we think we're invincible. Like we're not gonna die. Nobody's gonna die. And a lot
they want their mothers to post
GoFundMe pages.
And a lot of people come up on that. They die like other races, and they like, man, got $500,000 sitting in a pot, and they're able to buy homes, move on, and they don't even be worried about their day-to-day job because they got all this money coming in. We can't handle the simple things, whatever, because no one is accountable for that. We have to do better than that. It's a lot. We all know that we're gonna die sooner or later.
Exactly.
And it's a shame when you leave your loved ones behind with stuff that you accumulated and you didn't do it. And that's why, like I said, so that's why.
But we also need to balance. Like for me, it's crazy. My friend just reminded me. It's crazy you would have a credit card but not have life insurance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you need to balance. Some people don't have credit cards because
I don't
pay cash or something.
I don't.
I can't handle it.
It's really learned behaviors. Like my behavior. I remember when I first got credit cards, I had 32 credit cards.
Jesus Christ.
32. I had every department store you can think of. On top of MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express. I remember having 2 different American Express cards. Just crazy. So when I got my house, they was like, you got too much debt.
Yep.
You got cards, it's open that you're not using, but it's accessible debt for you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll count that against you.
I had to like change my mindset, and I was like, I need 2 major credit cards. And I was like, how often do I shop at Macy's? I don't even shop at Sears. Why do I got this?
Well, you need them.
Do
Yeah.
JCPenney. Why do I got all these cards? So then I started to go through that period of time where I had to shut down all these credit cards, which is going to affect my credit now too. Because I had to shut them all down because I wasn't utilizing them. So now I have an emergency credit card, okay, and then I have a credit card that I pay my bills with. The emergency credit card is because I travel a lot, and if something happened, I get sick, it can pay my medical.
You got the card, right?
Okay. The other one I pay my bills with. I get gas with, and I pay it as soon as I get paid. You know what I'm saying? It's like I got this cash. Here it go. This is it. But and then I have 3 insurance policies. People don't get insurance policy because they think I have an insurance policy with my job. If they fire you today, that insurance policy is fired too.
Yeah, gone.
It's gone. So you gotta have extra insurance. Because if anything happened, you got to make sure your family have adequate enough money to cover the expenses as well as all the after stuff that happens.
That and on everybody I'm attached to. Everybody's funeral I might have to plan. They got an insurance policy too. Because I'm not playing with none of you. You won't catch me.
Yeah, my dad was like, I don't have an insurance policy. 15 years ago, I was like, oh, no problem.
That's like you have 2 children?
Yes.
So like a whole life policy for you. Say, for example, you got a whole life policy and you start paying on that policy now, say $1 million or $2 million or whatever the case may be.
My father has a policy for me. My father has a policy for my children. I also have whole life policies for my children. I also got one for their dad, but don't tell him that.
And so that money, see, you can borrow against that money when they get ready to go to college. Instead of them having to get a student loan, you can borrow against that policy. That's what wealthy people do. They take that money instead of their kids going out and getting a student loan like our kids do and being in debt for the rest of their life. They get that money against that insurance policy and they pull that money out and they get that money for college. They give that money for a car. They get that money for an apartment. They get that money for a home down payment, all those kind of things. And then when they pass away, whatever that balance is in that account, because you're still depositing money into that account, paying on that policy, but you're not paying anything close to what you've, taken out, but you've provided for your kids while you're still alive. A lot better than you would have been able to if it was something you had to save on your own.
Right.
And so that's the kind of things I teach in my program. It's called Think and Grow Wealth. And it's all about teaching people how to create generational wealth for them and their families. And I mean, we don't do that. And I learned from being, like I said, I have friends that are millionaires. I have friends that have a lot of money. And so I watch and I listen to what they do and I watch what other people do who are, surround yourself with better people who do better than you. That's how you see how they got there. You try to learn to do that. And so I try to teach young people and people in the community and then families and things like that, these things, because I wasn't taught it when I was young. If I would have been doing all this stuff when I was younger, who knows where I would be. I learned a lot of things along the way. And so trying to teach young people now how to do that, how to teach families now how to do that, that's how you're going to help people to be more self-sufficient. So that's what I do. That's what my goal is for 2022, is trying to help people to learn how to be more self-sufficient with their finances. And I do need to get a credit card this year. That's my other goal. I haven't had a credit card in 20 years. So I need to get a credit card because when you rent a car,
it should be easy for you to.
No, you can do it with your debit card now.
Oh, they're not.
Yeah, but no, you don't want to do that. Hold on. You do not want to use your debit card to rent a car. I'll tell you that now.
Well, that's because they're not letting you do them anymore. Anyways, because
no. It's not that.
Most cars now,
they tie up your money.
Are not doing it because people are putting it up with the debit
it's not
card.
secure. Right.
So they're making you have a credit card now.
Correct.
They changed it up. I've gone to Dallas and they actually I had to go to 3 or 4 different places to find one that took a debit card. Even though I had the money there and everything, they want a credit card now. So I actually have to. I haven't had a credit card in 20 years, so I have to actually find.
Yeah, I thought it was the only time I had an issue one time where they well, not necessarily an issue, but they wanted to see at the airport if you run a car from the airport,
your return ticket.
Right, they want to see your ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But other than
that, not
even
doing that anymore.
It's $250. It's
not
been
anymore.
a $250.
How long ago was that? How long ago was that?
I want to say in July,
really?
June or July.
That's going to be dependent upon the rental car company.
Okay, I think it was Enterprise. Enterprise. Yeah. It was Enterprise.
I went from
Turo.
But Enterprise, you can do a debit card, and some if you show that you have an itinerary from an airplane itinerary,
right,
from the airport, then you know what I'm trying to say. They'll let you use your debit, but if not, you have to have a major credit card, or they'll do a credit check on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, now that I do know with the debit card, because when they did do it originally the first time, they were like, well, you're something you have to call Experian. And I was like, for what? They were like, your credit is locked. And I was like, it is. And they were like, oh, you have to unlock it. You can call them and unlock it. And I was like, oh, really? And I literally called them and they knew exactly what it was about. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. And I did unlock it. And they did go ahead and do it. And I had that lock on there because it was some internet breach or something or whatever. But yeah, I've never had.
Well, I went through something similar.
It's free money for me in my head. It's gonna be free money.
Yeah, I went through something similar with the credit check when I went to Dallas and I went to rent a car. And like I said, they were going to use my debit card and they did let me use it. But like I said, when they ran they ran a credit check on me, and it came up as an error. And I knew it was going to come up as an error. But that's what happens when they run a credit check on me, and that's because I have no credit. So when you have no credit, it shows up as a 0, which means it shows as an error because they don't understand that. But that's
so you don't have no phone bills or nothing in your name.
I do.
You don't need a credit.
That's not a debt.
He doesn't. There's a difference between having a cell phone bill and a landline bill. Cell phone bill won't count.
Yeah, all those kind of things don't count. When you say credit, you're talking about credit cards, you're talking about car notes, you're talking about student loans, you're talking about mortgages, you're talking about things like that where you're making payments on something for a debt that you created.
Right.
I have no debt. My debt limit is 0. I have 0 debt. I owe nobody anything. And I've been like that for like over 20 years. So, like I said, it shows up as an error when they run a credit check on me because it's normally a 0. But
you paid off your house. You paid off your house and everything.
I always pay cash for my houses. Every house I had, I paid cash for. I had 20 houses, and people say, "Well, you never buy a house." I had 20 houses. I had one house with a mortgage, and I paid it off in 7 years.
You flip houses? You flip houses?
No, I was a landlord. I owned 20 houses. I owned them, and then when I got tired of them, I just sold them. And some of them I just gave to the tenants. I didn't want them. I just gave it to them. But that's what I did. That was my thing, And then
Willie, what are you doing the rest of this week? Besides,
I'm working. I got to go to work, don't I, Lakia?
Tommy,
well, no, because when I was
Lakia said, I told Lakia I got to go to work. She was like, go to work. I got to go to work, right, Lakia?
You ain't got no job.
I haven't had a job in 20 years,
no,
so I don't know.
Because what I was because I'll send you my number, and what we can do is we can put together an investment strategy for everybody that's on the panel and people that want to listen to the stores. Because Anita was
because I wanted to see if we could do something one day. If we could do a side show, or a weekend show or something where we do a financial literacy workshop, and I'll do it for. I ain't gonna say free, but we'll do it.
This is the most free thing y'all gonna do.
You know what? I have a boot camp. Called Introduction to the Stock Market Boot Camp, and it does introduction. We don't do penny stocks and all that stuff. It's basically introducing you to the stock market and help you understand what it is. And everybody that's taken my course have done very well in the stock market. And so, and it's not expensive. It's 4 days. and it's not expensive at all. But
What do you
we'll
call
talk
not
about
expensive?
it. Not like $99. It's not expensive. It's not expensive. I wanted affordable because my role is to try to help people to make money. Like I said, even with my programs, it's all about
So
helping
what's
people
doing
make
very
money.
well? What would you consider doing very well? You said all of the people that take your course are doing very well. What would you
making
consider?
money.
What kind of money?
It doesn't matter. As long as you're generating income, you're doing well. See,
so if I pay
$99
for this course, me generating $20 is not good money.
Well, then you're not. Then you should have took my. If you generate $20, that means you didn't pay attention in my course.
And that means okay. That's what I was trying to figure out. What's doing well?
See, you said doing well. People are doing well. I like I said, I teach people. I don't teach people how to get rich. You know, I talk to my kids and I say, do you want to be rich or do you want to be wealthy? If you want to be rich, then you don't want to take my course because I don't work with people who want to be rich. I work with people who want to be wealthy. So that means that you're going to make money every month, whether it's through dividends, whether it's through growth stocks. I teach you all this stuff so that way you know. So that way, I like if people ask me how much money I make, I can never tell you how much money I make because I have so many streams of income that I never know where the income's going to come from. So for me, I just say I pay what I need to pay, which I have no bills. So what do I pay? Nothing. I enjoy life. And I got to go to work. I got to go to work tomorrow, right, Lakia?
Lakia said you Tommy, whatever. You ain't got no
job. Right. And so my work is I get up and I do, like when I get off this show, I'll get on and I'll do stocks and I'll do different things and research and create workshops and different things that I do. I write books. I've written 16 books. So, I mean, you know, I do all these things and that's what I generate income from. And that's what I teach people. That's what I teach you. That's what I teach kids. So this way, like I said, they never know how much money you're gonna make because you can make money from a book, you make money from stocks, you make money from dividends.
So Willie,
that's what wealth is. That's what wealth is.
So Willie, with that philosophy, does that work for everybody?
It depends on your discipline. When I said earlier, I said it depends on your discipline. If you're a shopper and you like to go out and eat in restaurants and all that kind of stuff, then you're only going to make so much because you're going to spend more than you make. But for me, I don't go out. I like to cook, so I very rarely go out to restaurants. You know, I'm not a shopper. I have clothes that I buy nice clothes. Like I said, I have tuxedos. I have clothes. I have lots of clothes. But do I go shopping? No. I can go walk around the mall all day and not buy a thing.
Your kids don't run your pockets?
I have a daughter, and a granddaughter, no. and again,
it's a powerful word.
It's all about discipline. And I talked about it yesterday. I did a video yesterday. I said it doesn't hurt to say no. It doesn't hurt to say no. I bought my daughter, instead of giving my daughter money, I bought her a 4-unit house. And you know what she said? Why are you buying me a house? Why didn't you just give me the money? And I took the money and I gave the house back. I had put a deposit on it because I wanted to make sure she wanted it. And I got my money back and I gave the people the house and I gave her some money. But what did she do with the money? Nothing. But she had a 4-unit house that she would have had stream of income for years to come. But her mindset was, I'd rather have the money because that's what she knew dad for, was having money.
And honestly, I think this is something. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Willie.
No, I'm just saying it's all about your mindset, and the more discipline you get. And I moved out when I was 16 years old. I started working when I was 11. So I've learned over years how to make money, save money, do the things that I do. And that's why I said I haven't had a credit card. I haven't worked a job in 20 years. I haven't had a credit card in over 20 years. I had one car note. I had one mortgage and one car note. I paid the car off in a year and I paid the mortgage off in 7. I had 20 houses, several cars, no credit cards. My credit score was a 0 up until 2 months ago. Now it's an 8 because somebody said I owe them $200. I'm still trying to figure out who these people are. They said I owe them $200. I have no idea who these people are. They said I owe them $200. So they gave me an 8 credit score because I owe somebody. But my credit says 0. My credit debt says 0. I have no debt.
Well,
Well, you shouldn't have a problem getting a credit card. What I would advise you to do,
I
and you
don't have a
probably already
credit
know
card. I
this.
just don't want to do. I haven't had one in so long. I just said I need to get one. But until I
No,
think about whether I'm going to travel, which I have no plans on traveling anywhere where I'm going to need a rental car, I'm not pressed to go get a credit card
Get
right
a
now.
secured one.
that's what I was
Well,
going to
I'm not
suggest.
pressed
Just
to
that.
have one. I could get one. Like, 'cause think about it. And I tell people all the time, I said, who do you think they'll give a loan to the fastest? Somebody with a 700 or 800 score, or somebody who has no debt at all? I could get
Somebody with a 700, 800
I
score.
can get a loan faster than you could because I don't owe anybody. So they know. Yeah, trust me.
No, no,
Trust me.
no.
I get phone calls every day
I made
offering me
that. I
$50,000
can
to
say
$100,000.
I made that mistake, and I still don't have any credit card. But I made that mistake because initially, when I was younger, I bought my first car with cash. I saved up money, and my godmother met me halfway. I bought that with cash, and I think the second car, I turned that car in and bought it with cash. And then it got to a point where I needed credit, and I did not have that
Well, what'd you
real
need credit for? What'd you need credit for?
For what? Like it's just different stuff. Like when you get an apartment, they want to see that you have credit. Like, so instead of me not having no deposit, I had a deposit. Or instead of I want to finance a car, now I need my father to co-sign for me, and then I have to refinance to get him offer it because I have nothing to speak for me.
Insurance too.
Probably because you were younger. Probably because you were younger.
Insurance as well.
Really?
No. And insurance.
My insurance is
Insurance does check your credit too, because
my
insurance
insurance
does
is
check your
$75 a
credit.
month for coverage. So that's not true.
Hold on. But I think the thing that you might be getting caught up on, Willie, is that you have the cash to back what you're doing, whereas they probably didn't, or Shaughnessy probably didn't.
That's why I was asking her what was she talking about.
No, I did have the cash. But that was one of the things that I wish I would have been taught from.
Well, no, hold on. When I say Willie has the cash, I'm talking about they can verify that Willie has a certain amount of money to where it's not an issue, versus you can't do that the way he can. So they
can't verify that either.
Oh, okay, all right then.
I told you I have to take my class. You can't on paper you would be surprised what my income was. But the thing is, I have several businesses. I have a corporation. I have an S corp. I have an LLC, and
no. See, but that's what I'm talking about. You have verifiable income.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Wait a minute. The businesses aren't in the name.
Willie scamming.
No.
I ain't worried about nobody knocking on my door. I am not scamming. But the thing is,
the business is in your name, though.
I have an S corp. I have an LLC.
But you got to.
I have a DBA, and I have
correct
a nonprofit. I'm sorry.
But the business is in your name.
Taxes. I have to file taxes.
You have,
I have to file taxes for my book.
All those
and that's verifiable income.
My job.
But it's not accredited to me.
Taxes.
No, but what I'm saying is you have access to it.
You got an alternate Social Security card?
No, you don't have to have alternate. Each one of those businesses have an EIN number. They don't have my
employee identification number.
Back to you.
Are you just keep filing zip? Are you keep filing zero zip like you're not doing business? What?
No, I don't have to file zero. They owe me $76,000. I have a $76,000 credit. I don't have to file zero. I have a $76,000
but it's
credit.
Still income.
I don't have to file zero.
Man, Willie owes some shit.
He is on some stuff because I was just
I'm not. If I was on some stuff, I wouldn't be able to talk about it. That would be stupid for me to talk about it.
It doesn't mean that it has to.
Yes, it will, because somebody could say, "Hey, IRS, he's saying this, that, and the other," because they listen to stuff like this. But
the IRS is not on this part.
Trust me.
He's correct there. That much I can definitely say. He's correct there.
Yeah, but he ain't making that much money for no IRS to be.
The IRS don't care about none of us here.
I don't have to make. I don't have to. I make no money. I tell people I don't make money. I don't have a job. I've worked for 20 years.
The
So
IRS
you are aware
ain't worried
that
about
credit
us.
card credit.
I work every
credit
day, but I
does
don't have a
is
job.
it
I work every
shows
day,
you
but I don't have a job.
but credit shows your paying habits. That's all it does. It just
Right.
shows your paying
Really?
habits, your paying history. That's
That's
it.
it.
So
That's it.
that's it. That's all it shows.
And that's
So
what affected me because I had
So,
nothing to
so
show
if I
can
show
pay
that I
a
have zero
bill.
credit, if that shows that I have zero credit, then that means that what? That I'm not paying anybody?
but no, because
No,
you
no,
made
no,
a
no, no, no,
statement
no.
saying you made a statement saying I could get along quicker than you, and
I
that's
can.
not true.
They
I
have
can.
nothing
Not
to
true.
Oh, you know
stand
what?
on. So basically, the
I'll
premise
say
of
I'm not
credit
okay.
is
I won't say I can get along quicker, but
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, that's better.
I get a phone call. I get a phone call at least once a week offering me anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000.
I do.
You
I
are aware
do.
that most of those calls are scam
Chase,
calls.
Chase is
And
on
so-
me, and they sound real good, but I can't do it. I can't.
Right.
I'm
But
not.
I
I'm not
get
disciplined enough.
business. I get people offer me business loans and all kinds of stuff. But the thing is, because I
Hold
don't.
on, really. One question. You said business loans. They're not personal loans, so you
No, I'm
everything
saying
that you do, you're funneling through your business.
Well, that's why I said I don't have an income. So why would they offer me a personal loan?
No, but that's what we're telling you.
How much you
What?
charge to teach people how to scam?
It's not a scam. It's not a scam. Willie's doing the same thing that bigger businesses do. He's just doing it on a smaller scale.
You watch all the wealthy people out there. I've learned from what they do. I learned from wealthy people.
It's very legal, but what Willie is saying is this is information that doesn't filter down to us.
Right.
This is why we can't do it. And
right.
Willie's
so
like Willie said, he doesn't
like a scam because we pay. We do,
right.
We pay, we're taught that we need to have a high credit score. The only way you have a high credit score is if you have debt. That's what it's based on is your debt.
Right.
I have no debt. I have no debt. So if I needed a car, I go out and I buy a car. If I needed a house, which I don't want a house. I had 20 houses, but I don't want a house anymore. I got tired of houses. So I started businesses. I started property management company, property inspection company. I write books. I do seminars. I create workshops. I do contracting. So you have multiple streams of income, but they all go into different corporations and different organizations, which you pay your taxes on. But on paper, I have no income because it's not tied to me.
Really killing the
But
game.
the one thing,
So do you qualify for like food stamps and stuff?
I could if I wouldn't apply for it, but I don't. I don't because again, like you were talking about a scam, because of what I do, I wouldn't want to put myself even where they would consider me doing something that was, inappropriate. But I could qualify because I have no income.
I'm gonna tell you now. I don't know what you're doing, but it just don't sound like something that will.
It's legal. Trust me. It's
it's because we weren't taught those things when we were brought up as kids. So that's why I said it doesn't sound legitimate to people because
Anita needs to be taught these things.
But and that's what I teach. I teach kids this. This is what I teach kids. So this way they know how to do it. But we growing up as adults, we didn't hear about this stuff. Our parents didn't know this stuff. Our parents weren't teaching us this stuff. So, when a person like me standing there talking about it, and most people that know about it won't talk about it because, again, people think it's a scam, but it's not a scam. It's what the wealthy people do. This is how wealthy people live. They don't put their money into a bank, a savings account, really, because a savings account, they give you interest and then they charge you more fees than what they gave you in the interest. So what the wealthy people do, instead of putting $1,000 a week, $100,000 a week in the bank, they put $1,000 a month into a $3 million life insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they take and go, and once that policy builds up, they go and they take $200,000, $100,000, $50,000, and they pay for their kids to go to college. They pay for their kids to get their first home. They do all those things, and when they die, there's $3 million still coming to their kids, and they just took that $200,000, that $2 million or whatever off that you borrowed over the years. But who's lost? Nobody lost anything. That's what wealthy people do.
Right.
But we don't teach our kids that because we don't know to teach our kids that.
Look,
because it is getting extremely late for me, and I'm.
Oh yeah, I gotta go too.
getting past my bedtime.
Well, we'll
So
talk.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get on my financial literacy
bow out.
bandwagon.
But I'm going to share my little saying before I bow out because I see my eyes. I want to close now.
Oh, well, now. Good night, Lakia.
Can I finish? You're always trying to interrupt somebody.
Good night, Lakia.
It's not about having lots of money. It's knowing how to manage it. So that's my word saying for the.
That's what I see.
All about managing, and that's just what I said for New Year's. I just want to manage it better. I want to be a good steward over it. That's my plan. But at that saying, guys, I'm going to bow out gracefully. Have a good night.
Good night, Lakia.
Take care.
And I so look forward to seeing y'all beautiful and handsome faces every Monday. Until we meet
Good
again.
night. Good night.
Herb, text me your number too.
Sleep well.
Thank you.
Herb, text me your number. Or
Yeah, I'll do that.
So
Who's next? Who's next?
Who's
Closing talking point.
Closing.
You guys have a great night. I really enjoy getting on here on Mondays, speaking with you. I hope that you guys have a very successful 2022. Just stay positive. Make sure that you're keeping your inner peace captivated, okay? And make sure that you're not allowing anyone to try to capture your inner emotions, taking them by force, and that you just stay positive.
All right, Lynetta. Appreciate it.
I am looking to purchase a book a month or get a magazine subscription. On top of that, looking to increase my crypto investment. I started out with Coinbase at $5, and now I'm sitting at about 90 with about 15 or $20 of my own money. So that's another thing that people can look at. I'm going to start trying to read up more on that. I know Coinbase is saying that if I invite people, they'll give them $5 once they open an account, and you don't have to deposit anything in there, and you can start to play with the $5 and see how crypto works and see if it's for you. The only thing you're going to lose is time. And with that,
Stop chasing crypto. I'm going to give you guys an ETF. I'll give you guys an ETF that invests in cryptos, and they'll do all the research and get the cryptos. And I'm also give you guys a new. We'll talk about it later. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Growth and understanding occurs in the gray area. Godspeed. See you next time.
All right. I'm going to go next because I just want to finish because I've been running my mouth all show. But I've been talking financial literacy. 2022, I've already talked about. I started my A Better You lifestyle, and it's all about financial literacy. So I am going to be pushing financial literacy this year, helping people to make money. And I'm going to teach you guys. I'm going to give you guys information. I'm going to give some tips every week or something. I'll mention something about how you guys can invest in, like I said, with ETFs for the crypto, so you don't have to chase them. And also there's a new ETF that young people have started, guys 17 years old and over, and then what they're investing in is things that young people are doing in the world right now. So all the Facebook and all the new stuff that come out, the young people are doing, it's called Z-Gen, Z-G-E-N, and that's a new ETF that just started last week. And so that is only like $25 a share right now. Trust me, it's going to be up there. So I'm not allowed, I can't say I'm giving you stock advice, but I'm just asking you to look into it. And that's going to be my tip. Other than in 2022, headshots are still deceiving.
From here up is deceiving.
That headshots, that's what they are, headshots. And you know them when you see them too.
What is ETF?
Exchange traded funds. Exchange traded funds. And it's called exchange traded funds. And what they are is companies that invest, instead of just buying Facebook, they buy Facebook, Amazon, they buy a number of different companies, and they invest and give you dividends and different things. So that way you don't have to try to research all those companies.
Chase everything. Yep.
Right. So
and my little scammer son, he got.
So we'll talk. We'll talk because I want you to teach him. I have a book for him too. How old is he?
11.
11. See this book right here? That's for 11-year-olds. From Boys to Men. It talks about all the stuff that we talk about. I got it for him.
Boys
I'll
to
send you a
Men.
copy. Inbox me your address. I'll email it to you. I'll send it to you. I'll mail it to you.
Boys to Men. Gotcha.
Got me?
My closing remark statements. I don't really have a closing remark or statement necessarily, but I am going to think about what Lakia said, and that was, who are you to be above disappointment? Which was very, very good and interesting, because I'm not a forgiving person, but that statement is very true. Very, very true. So I'll be thinking about that throughout this week and see if that brings about some change. Maybe I'll unbury some people.
All right. Okay, Shaughnessy, appreciate you. All right. Anita.
I discovered that New Year's resolutions don't work for me because I'm motivated for the first 2.5 to 4 weeks and then I'm done. So I don't make resolutions anymore, except for last year. My resolution was to stay alive because I almost died in 2020 about 3 times. So I made it through that year. I'm gonna make it through this year, but I have a lot of things to work on as far as being financially aware, decluttering, working on my humility, relationships, different, like not only boyfriend, girl, like dating relationships, relationships within friends, families, personal issues. I'm going to try to stay out of Bath and Body Works, even though I have a coupon, because I have enough. I really do. But it's their semi-annual sale, and I want a lot of hand soap.
Candles.
And then like eating out, I need to acquire friends that cook. So if any of y'all in my area know how to cook and want to come over and use my brand new unopened air fryer and not make pizza in it, Herb, you're welcome to come over. We can have a slumber party, a pajama jam.
Oh, that escalated quickly.
And yeah, my credit card debt, my savings plan, which it doesn't work too well because I get paid once a month and I'm on a fixed income. So there's no room for me to make extra income. And because I can't work right now anyway. So it's kind of difficult.
We'll figure it out.
We'll
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
So I can't do the 2, 4, 6, 8 envelopes because I get paid once a month. So if I'm putting $200 down somewhere, I'm put the whole $200 down. And,
we'll figure you out. We'll work it out.
Yeah, I need help. I need some self-improvement this year. I need to come up.
Well, that's
obviously what I've been doing is not. I've been improving over the years with personal stuff, but who can't use improvement personally? So, but this year is the year of the tiger. So, and I'm a Leo, so I'm a lion.
All right.
And that's the point of these conversations, for us to learn and grow from each other. None of us are
and
experts.
I like my wine too.
None of us are experts in anything. We all can grow and learn. And I'm still on my weight loss journey because I realized that none of this matters unless you're healthy. So we have to keep pushing forward, and the investments, the crypto and all that stuff. I was into the stocks, whatever. Then I leaned more toward the crypto and all that stuff, but I'm still willing to listen to advice. If Willie know the stock game, I want to be a part of that. And each and every one of us have a skill set that we should all let's grow, let's build, whatever, and not be envious of that. I want all of us to eat. We all have to eat. And the more that we eat, the more
the bigger my booty's gonna get.
Whatever that be. But it creates less tension. So we just got to stay together, and I enjoy the energy in the counselor's corner. Everything is
Yes.
building up. The conversations is good. I know, Willie, you have your show on Sunday nights, whatever. Let's just keep building and keep growing and
What's Willie's
help
show?
each other out.
I know. Why don't
Willie,
Willie
talk
invite
about it.
us?
A Better You Lifestyle. Actually, this Sunday at 8 o'clock, A Better You Lifestyle. And I'm going to be talking about a mother's love, where we talk about working with our kids and helping them to create wealth and how to become more financially astute. So I do that this coming Sunday. And then the following Sunday is Financially You, where I talk about stocks and real estate and franchises and different ways to make money. And then the fourth week is Making Your House Your Home, which is all about real estate. The first week was yesterday was Understanding Your You, which is all about self-improvement and self-awareness. As a matter of fact, I posted it in the group. So if you want to see, kind of give you an idea of some of the stuff I talk about, that was all about self-awareness that I posted in the group yesterday.
So let's continue to build and grow. Build and grow, connect with each other. If you're not friends on Facebook, connect with each other, and let's keep building and growing. And we got to make this better than 2022 than 2021, because we got a lot of shit that we got to face with this year, and we need to stick together and help each other out. We got to get rid of that mindset of the jealousy or don't want nobody to have more than we have. I don't give a damn what all y'all have. I want all of us to eat. I want all of us to eat. Yeah, I want all of us to eat, man. And that's just my mindset. So with that saying, everybody, good night. Please drop, if you got any talking points for next week's show, inbox me, and let's keep having these good dialogues. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all bring so much to the counselor's corner, and let's keep it moving. I appreciate everybody else who wasn't on the panel, who chimed in and had their feedback, because that helped us grow as well.
Yeah, we didn't have no arguments, no debates, no nothing. We all got along.
Good show. A real good show. Have a good night, everybody.
Everybody, we out. Everybody,
take care.
peace,
Hit me up.
everybody.
Sean, send me your address. I'll get a book out to you for your son this week, and put his name
I'll
in
give
it.
you my address too. I need a book too for 16-year-olds.
Thank you. I definitely will do.
Okay, and put his name so I know I'll autograph it for him.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Y'all take care. You're welcome.
Be safe.
Okay, Willie, I'll hit you up.
All right, y'all be good.
Bye.